Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Changing Life and Career. I planted the world tree at the beginning. Chapter 81. The full name of these orcs should be called Northrend Warriors. Chen Yu has seen relevant information about these monsters in books. Northrend is also a monster race, similar to goblins, both of which have green skin. However, the combat power of Northrend is not comparable to that of goblins at all. For monsters below level 50, the normal attribute growth is about 2 points for each level increase in the main attribute. The growth value for goblins is 1.5 or even 1, while for Northrend it is 2.5 minus 3.5. Of course, the nutritional value is also higher for plant life. The plant life released earlier swallowed 50,000 goblins, and each one of them is already full. Chen Yu took them back to the unsurpassable sacred ground to let them digest slowly, and then summoned a batch of new epic plant lives. This time, in addition to the thornvine nymph, lily flower nymph, and man-eating flower nymph, 2 cloudvine plants were also summoned. Cloudvine. Tier. Epic. Level. 50. Attributes. Strength 1650, Agility 1500, Constitution 2100, Spirit 650. Skills. Rooting LV10, Giant Strength LV10, Extension LV10, Regeneration LV10. After this period of cultivation, the cloudvine has matured and evolved into an epic level. A cloudvine only has one vine from top to bottom. The thickest part has a diameter of over 1 meter. The length of the entire cloudvine is at least 100 meters. Among the 4 skills, regeneration doesn't need explanation, as the name suggests. Rooting is a status skill. When the cloudvine is in a rooted state, all attributes will be enhanced. Giant strength is also a status skill, greatly increasing the strength of the cloudvine when attacking. Extension allows the cloudvine to instantly expand to a length equivalent to 10 times its original size. Looking at the attributes and skills, its combat power should be higher than the other 3 epic plant lives. Unfortunately, there are no evenly matched opponents nearby for the cloudvine to practice against. The high combat power of the cloudvine also has a downside, which is its relatively low level of intelligence. Without Chen Yu's command, it can only act on instinct. Compared to humanoid plant lives that can think, it falls short by a large margin. The appearance of the massive cloudvine made the 10 Northrend warriors stunned for a moment, then they roared and charged again. The cloudvine also took action, and 2 huge vines fell from the sky, smashing heavily into the midst of the orc warriors. Boom! Earth and stones splattered, and a dull explosion sounded. The ground was smashed into a large pit, and the 10 orc warriors were completely obliterated. Chen Yu looked at the performance of the cloudvine and couldn't help but nod. Although there is a suspicion of using a cannon to kill a mosquito, these 2 guys are indeed skilled in physical group attacks. When facing a large number of enemies, they clear monsters much faster than the thornvine nymph. With the cloudvine blocking the way, there is basically nothing for the other plant lives to do. As soon as the Northrend warriors appear, they are smashed into a mess. The 3 humanoid plant lives don't even need to attack, they can enjoy their food peacefully. This situation is very favorable for the lily flower nymph, allowing them to have a rare satisfying meal. But for the man-eating flower nymph, it is not so friendly, as they can't even find a complete monster. The spawning mechanism in the rank 2 of endless mode has obviously been modified. In the previous round, during the late stage, monsters surged out of the portal like a tide. In this round, there is a strict limit of 1 wave every 30 seconds. Moreover, the number of monsters in each wave stops increasing after reaching 50. The first 10 waves have a total of 100 monsters, waves 11 to 20 have a total of 200 monsters, waves 21 to 30 have a total of 300 monsters, waves 31 to 40 have a total of 400 monsters, and waves 41 to 120 have 50 monsters per wave. Calculating it, the duration of rank 2 in endless mode is 1 hour, with a total of 120 waves and a total of 5,000 monsters. The score for the Nordrissel warrior is twice as high as that of the goblin, with 1 point for every 5 monsters. However, due to the scarcity of numbers, the total score is only 1,000 points. Chen Yu seriously suspects that the official examination authorities have played a trick on him. Otherwise, it would not be possible to have so few monsters. In reality, Chen Yu guessed correctly. Notice, Candidate number 36589. Due to insufficient number of monsters in the examination room, the spawning mechanism for Rank 2 in Endless Mode has been modified, and the modification has been settled as 5,000 points for the college entrance examination. Rank 2 in Endless Mode has ended. You have 30 minutes of rest time, or you can directly start Rank 3 in Endless Mode. Indeed, there are not enough monsters again. Chen Yu glanced at the 16,000 points of the college entrance examination score and said, "Let's start directly." Monsters appeared again in the portal. This time, it was a huge bear standing 10 meters tall. Roar! Bang! The bear let out a roar, but before the roar ended, it was smashed by the huge vine of the Mo Cloud Vine. Killed level 50 elite bear, experience plus 250, due to level restrictions, experience has been automatically stored in the experience pool. Killed level 50 elite bear, experience plus 250, due to level restrictions, experience has been automatically stored in the experience pool. Rank 3 in Endless Mode has ended. You have 30 minutes of rest time, or you can directly start Rank 4 in Endless Mode. Really? It's over already? Chen Yu looked at the college entrance examination score that had only increased by 200 points and couldn't believe it. Calculating it, one level 50 elite monster is worth 20 points. But this quantity is too small. And this time, there was no compensation prompt, indicating that there were only these 10 monsters in Rank 3 of Endless Mode. Continue, next level, Chen Yu said with a dark face. From the third level, it can be seen that the rewards for the later levels are definitely not as good as the first two levels. At the same time, Su Miaoyu also completed all the basic levels. Level 30 was a bit difficult, so after finishing it, she chose to rest for half an hour before starting Endless Mode. 10 goblin warriors walked out of the portal, and Su Miaoyu immediately unleashed her autumn water sword technique without hesitation. She was like a graceful dancing reaper, her long sword shimmering with cold light, constantly harvesting the lives of her enemies. In just 20 seconds, she had killed all 10 goblin warriors. A few seconds later, 10 more goblin warriors walked out of the portal. Su Miaoyu remained elegant in her dance, one sword at a time. There were no surprises in the next 8 waves, all cleared within 30 seconds. In the 11th wave, 20 goblins appeared from the portal. This time, the speed of clearing the monsters with the autumn water sword technique couldn't keep up. When the 12th wave of monsters walked out of the portal, there were still 4 remaining from the previous wave. Su Miaoyu gritted her teeth and unleashed a sword aura, piercing through several goblins in succession, then used the autumn water sword technique to harvest up close. Finally, before the 13th wave of monsters appeared, she managed to kill all the monsters on the field. For the 13th wave of 20 monsters, Su Miaoyu did not use any other skills, but solely relied on the autumn water sword technique. The autumn water sword technique focuses on close-range attacks, with low consumption and high damage, but requires good positioning. Her other 4 skills include an explosive state skill, a passive skill that increases weapon damage, and 2 offensive skills that come with the sword immortal profession. One is a linear damage sword aura slash, and the other is a group attack called broken water flow. When there are not many monsters, using these 2 skills does not provide proportional benefits compared to the consumption. Therefore, Su Miaoyu no longer pursued killing all the monsters in each wave, but constantly moved around, trying to preserve her own state as much as possible. The number of goblin warriors in the scene increased, quickly forming a dense mass. The more monsters there were, the greater the pressure on positioning. If she was surrounded carelessly, she might end up dying here and fail the exam. The same scene occurred in multiple exam venues. Those who could reach the endless mode were geniuses among geniuses. But even the most talented novice professionals did not dare to confront endless waves of monsters head-on. They could only touch and go at the edge of the monster group, occasionally using long-range skills to harvest. The scores for the college entrance examination also increased slowly, 1 point at a time. Chen Yu's behavior of stuffing money into a sack could not find a second person doing the same at the moment. In the command center of the college entrance examination, 2 forbidden powerhouses, along with many examiners and supervisors, finally breathed a sigh of relief when they saw the situation return to normal. If there were not enough monsters again, they would likely be held accountable by the Soaring Dragon Empire Education System headquarters. Even Overlord of Frost and Throne of Fire would lose face. From the third rank of the endless mode, it changed from survival mode to challenge mode. The monsters that appeared in the teleportation gate were no longer a large number of monster Cs, but a small number of high-quality monsters. There was no time limit for the level, and the passing standard was to kill all the monsters. For ordinary candidates, if they could pass, the points they obtained would definitely be higher than the previous 2 stages. But for Chen Yu, who had enjoyed the high returns brought by the massive number of monsters in the previous 2 stages, the points obtained after the third rank could only be considered better than nothing. Monsters below level 50, regardless of their type, could not withstand a fatal blow from 2 Mo Cloud Vines. It didn't take long for Chen Yu to rampage from the 3rd rank to the 10th rank. The 10th rank was the final level of the endless mode, with a level 60 ogre boss as the monster. Its strength was extremely formidable, and it fought back against the 2 epic Mo Cloud Vines. If it were against a Thorn Vine demon, it could probably fight 5 of them alone. However, when Chen Yu saw that the Mo Cloud Vines were unable to take down the boss, he directly ordered all the plant creatures to attack together. Even a level 60 boss could not withstand the onslaught of hundreds of level 50 epic creatures. The Lily Flower Fairy released weakening poison powder, the Man-Eating Flower Fairy spat acid, and the Thorn Vine Demon shot poisonous thorns. The attack had just begun, and the BOSS was already dead, with most of the subsequent long-range damage subjecting it to a brutal beating. After 1 round of attacks, the strong and fierce ogre boss couldn't even be found in ashes. You have completed all the endless mode levels and are now settling the final score. After settling, your total score for the first round of the college entrance examination is 30 levels in basic mode plus 18,500 points in endless mode. Your inventory will be automatically unlocked after exiting the instance. The drops from monsters in endless mode will be automatically stored in your inventory. If your inventory is full, a temporary backpack will be created. Please remember to check it in a timely manner. A prompt sound is heard. A beam of white light shines on Chen Yu. In the next moment, Chen Yu disappears from the instance scene and returns to the square where he entered the instance. At this time, on the college entrance examination square, some examinees have already gathered and are discussing the exam content. It's over, it's over. I only made it to the 6th level. I'm destined to have no chance of getting into university. The questions in this college entrance examination are too difficult. Yeah, can you believe it? There were archer monsters in the 8th level, hiding behind and shooting arrows at me. They shot me dead. I can only say that your practical combat ability is not good enough. As long as your level is above level 10 and you rely on the standardized equipment provided by the exam, it's not difficult to reach the 10th level. Indeed, the first 10 levels test your practical responsibility, not your skills and attributes. As long as you're not too terrible, you can pass. Just then, a white light flashes, and a candidate with tattered equipment appears in the same spot. Although he looks disheveled, he is extremely excited and laughs loudly, ha ha ha. I made it to level 25. Level 25. He seems to want to share his joy with the whole world. Level 25. That's amazing. Some nearby candidates immediately show envy. I heard that the baseline score for admission to Nine Peaks University last year was level 23. That's right, my cousin took the college entrance examination last year and got into Nine Peaks University with a score of level 23. According to Reason, the admission score for universities should be similar every year. Isn't it a sure thing to get into Nine Peaks University with level 25? Nine Peaks University is a top-tier university. After graduation, you can at least become a second-tier professional. You can join a large guild or company and get a decent position. I'm so jealous. Quote. In the exam instance, due to the different time it takes for candidates to deal with each level and the rest time in between, the progress of the candidates' exams is different. But at this time, most of the candidates have already finished the exam. Those who haven't finished yet are either struggling in the last few levels or in endless mode. After a few more minutes, a group of exam staff members enter and lead the candidates away from the square. Candidates with outstanding performance will be invited to rest in the exam dormitory and wait for the final ranking tomorrow. The top 1,000 in the first round of the exam will qualify for the ranking competition. Of course, if the results are not ideal and they believe they have no chance of entering the ranking competition, they can leave directly. Anyway, when they leave the college entrance exam instance, they already know their scores. They just need to wait for the admission score line of the professional university to be announced and then sign up. Chen Yu follows a staff member and enters the exam dormitory area. The dormitory area consists of several adjacent hotel-style buildings, with a simple exterior. Chen Yu's room is on the top floor of the first building. There are only 10 rooms on the top floor, with the candidates' exam numbers and names hanging on the doors. Each room is a suite of at least 200 square meters, with complete facilities, including a balcony and an outdoor swimming pool. Obviously, not all rooms in the exam dormitory have this kind of specification. The exam is also selective. Only those who perform exceptionally well in the exam and rank high can enjoy this accommodation treatment. After resting in the room for a while, Chen Yu is served with a beautifully exquisite meal by the service staff. After finishing dinner, Chen Yu sat on the sofa to rest. A lily spirit stood behind him, serving as a fragrance enhancer. Around 10 o'clock at night, there was a knock on the door. Chen Yu got up to answer the door. A man and a woman were standing outside. The middle-aged man was wearing a blue shirt and had a serious expression. The woman was dressed in a black robe. Although her features were delicate, they had a slightly masculine touch. "Hello, Chen Yu, I am Ling Shuhei," the woman smiled slightly and said to Chen Yu. "Hello, I am Wan Zhang," the man also smiled and said. Ling Shuhei, Wan Zhang. Chen Yu immediately remembered these two names. They were the two forbidden powerhouses who rewarded him with points in the examination room. Since leaving the examination room, Chen Yu had been waiting for these two people. He originally thought that they would send someone to invite him over. Unexpectedly, as forbidden powerhouses, they would personally come to his door. Respected examiners, Chen Yu respectfully bowed to the two. No need for formalities, Ling Shuhei smiled and said, "Wan Zhang and I came here privately to see the young talents of our soaring dragon empire. Why don't you invite us in for a sit? I apologize for the rudeness, please come in." Chen Yu stepped aside. Ling Shuhei and Wan Zhang entered the room, each accompanied by a young person. Beside Ling Shuhei was a somewhat gloomy-looking young man. He kept his head low, seemingly trying to reduce his presence. Beside Wan Zhang was a lively and agile young girl, staring at Chen Yu with curious almond-shaped eyes. "Aluo, come here," Wan Zhang called the girl to Chen Yu's side, then turned to Chen Yu and said, "This is a junior from my family, Lin Aluo. She is also a cultivator like you, but she specializes in beast taming." "Hello, great master, I'm Lin Aluo. Just like you, I am a cultivator, but I specialize in beast taming." The girl smiled sweetly and extended her right hand to Chen Yu. "Hello, Lin classmate." Chen Yu shook hands with the girl. On the other side, the young man beside Ling Shuhei didn't make any movements. Ling Shuhei kicked him in frustration, then pulled him to Chen Yu's side and introduced him. "Chen Yu, this is my junior, Ling Fadao, also a candidate in this year's examination." "Hello, Chen classmate." The young man timidly extended his hand to Chen Yu. "Hello, Ling classmate." Chen Yu smiled and shook his hand. This child seemed to have a bit of social anxiety. The four of them sat down in the room, and Chen Yu poured tea for them. After some small talk and compliments from the two forbidden powerhouses, they didn't mention the point rewards or their purpose. After a few casual conversations, Chen Yu roughly understood their intentions. They wanted Chen Yu to take care of their two juniors in the second round of the examination. At least, show some mercy when they meet. The point rewards in the examination room and the act of bringing their juniors to meet him already made their intentions clear. This kind of thing couldn't be said directly. Chen Yu responded with some hints, indicating that he would help take care of them as much as he could. The two forbidden powerhouses got the answer they wanted. After sitting for more than 10 minutes, they left with their juniors. Taking care of Lin Aluo and Ling Fadao was just a small matter for Chen Yu. At that time, just assigning a plant life to watch over them would help them achieve a good result. It was a small favor that could earn him a favor from two forbidden powerhouses. Why not do it? In the central capital of the Soaring Dragon Empire, in the accommodation area of the college entrance examination venue. In a room, 5 young boys and girls gathered. A refined young boy sat on the sofa, playing with tea utensils. His movements were elegant and smooth, and in no time, he brewed a pot of tea and poured it into 5 tea bowls. The tea was clear and refreshing, with a strong fragrance. Come, have some tea. The young boy pushed the teacups to the 5 positions on the coffee table and smiled, inviting them. Tisk, Li Hao, are you already an old man? Why are you starting to drink tea like those old men? A girl sitting on the windowsill mocked. The girl had a hot figure, wearing a tank top and short shorts, with her legs crossed. She held a can of beer in one hand and a cigarette in the other. Actually, I quite like drinking tea too, age has nothing to do with it. The girl with a bun hairstyle, sitting on the sofa just like Li Hao, picked up a teacup and took a sip, showing a look of enjoyment. I have to say, Li Rishan may not be good at anything else, but his tea brewing skills are quite good. Li Hao's face turned dark. Yuan Shao, can you call me by my name normally? Hee, sorry, I can't. The girl with a bun hairstyle took the teapot playfully and poured herself another cup. Everyone, stop messing around. I have a proposal about tomorrow's college entrance examination ranking competition. A young boy in ancient costume leaned against the wall by the door, his expression serious as he spoke slowly. Lu Huang, are you suggesting that we form an alliance, and with us at the center, gather a group of strong geniuses from other places to fight and gain the greatest benefits in the college entrance examination? Am I right? A girl with 2 braided hair and glasses suddenly raised her head and said with an elegant temperament. That's right. Lu Huang, the young boy in ancient costume, nodded. I heard that this year, several provinces have produced transcendent-level geniuses, which poses a great threat to us. Hee, speaking of that, I heard some news. Yuan Shao, the girl with a bun hairstyle, held the teacup and said with a smile, I heard that Ling Fadao, that little waste who passed the Cloud River province, has found a powerful backer. A powerful backer. The delinquent girl sitting on the windowsill suddenly became interested, squinting her eyes. How powerful? I'd like to see. Very powerful. Yuan Shao continued. You all know that Ling Fadao ran into trouble when he went to the Cloud River province, right? I know. The delinquent girl nodded. The forbidden powerhouse in Cloud River, from the overlord of Frost family, seems to be called Lin Aluo, much stronger than the little waste. I'm not talking about Lin Aluo. Yuan Shao wrinkled her nose. Even if Lin Aluo is strong, he probably only has 0.8 times the combat power of Li Rishan. How can he be considered a big backer? The combat power of that backer is at least 5 times that of Li Rishan. 5 times Li Hao, that's strong. The delinquent girl was surprised. To be able to rival 5 Li Haos, indeed impressive. The girl with glasses nodded seriously. Li Hao, I'm not joking. Yuan Shao said seriously, when I just came out of the examination room, a friend from Cloud River sent me a message. Throne of Fire and Overlord of Frost both gave the highest amount of additional rewards to the same candidate. Both of them have their own juniors to consider, and they were in the same examination room. I don't need to say what that means, right? It means that candidate's strength far surpasses Lin Aluo and Ling Fadao, and can even achieve a good ranking in the college entrance examination with those 2 as burdens. The girl with glasses said, in other words, that person is aiming for the top spot. So, do we form an alliance? Lu Huang proposed seriously again. We are in the capital, with a great reputation. If we disperse, we will easily become targets. You can form an alliance, I'll pass. The delinquent girl said disdainfully, savage beasts always go alone, only cattle and sheep gather. After speaking, the delinquent girl stood up and left the room. What about you guys? Lu Huang looked at the other 3. I think it's feasible. The girl with glasses nodded. I think it's feasible too. Yuan Shao also said. Then, Lu Huang looked at Li Hao, who was pouring tea. As for me, he's in. Yuan Shao directly pinched Li Hao's cheek, pulling it outwards, and looked at him with a threatening gaze. Right, Rishan. Yes, stop pinching, it hurts. Li Hao smiled bitterly and nodded. Do we need to discuss the plan? The girl with glasses pushed up her glasses and asked. Not for now. Lu Huang shook his head. The situation of the college entrance examination ranking competition instance is not clear yet. We need to make plans after entering the instance. All right. Li Hao stood up and said, if there's nothing else, let's meet tomorrow. After that, he walked out of the room without looking back. Hey, why are you running? Wait for me. Yuan Shao took a sip of tea, looked up, and found that Li Hao had already reached the door, so she quickly got up and chased after him. The next morning, at the Cloud River Province Nine Peaks City College entrance examination Gaokao Test Center. The first round of the Gaokao ended yesterday, and today is the day the results are announced. The surroundings of the large test center building were crowded with onlookers, including some recruiters from small and medium-sized forces. The top 1,000 candidates will participate in the second round of the Gaokao. But the candidates after the top 1,000 will leave the test center. Those who leave the next day are all candidates who are close to the top 1,000, with excellent talent and ability, and at least can be admitted to a first-class university. These people are the target group of recruiters from small and medium-sized forces. Graduating means reaching the second stage, and there will be opportunities for promotion to the third and fourth stages in the future, enough to become the backbone of small and medium-sized forces. At exactly 8 o'clock in the morning, the list was officially announced. On the large screen in front of the Gaokao venue, the subtitles scrolled, displaying the names of the candidates in rows. Whether it's an exam or a competition, the most eye-catching is undoubtedly the first place. Most people immediately focus their attention on the top of the list. First place. Candidate's name, Chen Yu. Examination number, 36589. Hometown, Cloud River Province River Sun City. Exam score, 30 levels in the basic stage plus 18,500 points in the endless mode plus 10,000 points in commendation, Throne of Fire 5,000 plus Overlord of Frost 5,000. Almost instantly, the score of the first place caused a huge sensation among the crowd. This first place is quite impressive. He actually scored 18,500 points in the endless mode. Only last year's first place can compare. Previous first places only had a little over 1,000 points. You're blind. Isn't that 18,500 points? It's clearly 18,500. 18,500. Wait, am I seeing it correctly? Holy shit, it really is 18,500. What kind of monster is this? He's truly a top talent. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Could he be cheating? Cheating your mother. Show me how you cheat in the Gaokao. Now we're in the era of the new epic. Do you think it's the legendary old times? Cheating in the Gaokao. Could it be? Can people really cheat in the Gaokao? Everyone, perhaps the score of 18,500 is a bit exaggerated, but this is not the highest score in the first round of the Gaokao in our Soaring Dragon Empire's history. The highest score in the historical records is 73,600 points, held by the current rank 9 martial arts master Luo Tianxing. Although the rules of the endless mode were different at that time, the difficulty was undoubtedly higher than now. Under the current rules, the highest score in the Gaokao endless mode is 32,600 points, held by the current Forbidden Arts Master Wind and Snow Throne. The more you explain, the more exaggerated it gets. It can even be compared to a Forbidden Arts Master. You know, this Chen Yu is really favored by the Forbidden Arts Masters. The 2 Forbidden Arts Masters who preside over the Gaokao have given him the highest level of commendation. Doesn't that mean this year's first place has a chance to become a Forbidden Arts Master? It's hard to say about becoming a Forbidden Arts Master, but becoming a rank 7 Master is definitely very likely. This year's second place is not bad either. He actually scored over 1,600 points. Oh, why is he also from River Sun City? Where the hell is River Sun City? How come I've never heard of it? I know River Sun City. It's just a small city. In the past couple of years, I don't know what happened, but it suddenly became a place of great talent. Look, the 7th place, Li Wei, is also from River Sun City. I remember last year's first place was also from River Sun City, right? My son will take the Gaokao next year. Should I send him to River Sun City to absorb some fairy aura? Maybe he can come back as a first place next year. Go to bed early. Your son will bring you a first place in your dreams. ... River Sun City, River Sun First High School. Zhang Tianming was sitting in his office, staring intently at the live broadcast of the Gaokao results. When he saw Chen Yu's name appear at the top of the list, his heart couldn't help but beat uncontrollably. When he confirmed that the Chen Yu on the list was the person he was familiar with, he wanted to laugh out loud and go out to hang celebratory banners throughout the school. Having 2 consecutive provincial top scorers from his school was the highest honor for an educator in a small city. Wait, this, 18,500 points. The 2 forbidden experts rewards add up to 10,000 points. My goodness. Noticing Chen Yu's specific score, Zhang Tianming was incredibly shocked, his eyes almost popping out. Ding ling ling. At this moment, the phone rang. Zhang Tianming took a deep breath and answered the call. A voice filled with envy and jealousy came through the phone, belonging to the principal of the second high school. Lao Zhang, congratulations. Your first high school has produced another top scorer, and this one is even more extraordinary than the last. Zhang Tianming paused for a moment, then burst into hearty laughter. Ha ha ha, thank you, thank you. Chen Yu hails from our River Sun City, but he has truly brought us River Sun City great honor. That's right, ha ha ha. The principal of the second high school also laughed at the same time. Indeed, within River Sun City, Chen Yu belonged to first high school, but in the entire Cloud River province and even the Soaring Dragon Empire, Chen Yu was the River Sun City's pride. In Nine Peaks City, inside the college entrance examination hall. The excitement caused by the release of the results of the first round of the college entrance examination had no effect on the top 1,000 candidates. Because today, they would begin the second round of the college entrance examination rankings. The college entrance examination rankings would place all candidates from across the country into a large-scale virtual world. Candidates would freely explore this virtual world to obtain college entrance examination points. The rankings test no longer relied solely on the individual abilities of the candidates, but rather their comprehensive qualities. This, comprehensive, covered the candidates' intelligence, emotional intelligence, social experience, and even their family background, luck, and many other factors. Candidates with good family backgrounds could easily gather a large number of followers around them to help them obtain points. Candidates with good luck might find hidden tasks or high-value items that would allow them to obtain a large number of points. The elimination round emphasized fairness and provided all candidates with an equal opportunity to compete. However, the rankings round did not value so-called fairness, and only aimed to select the most outstanding elites. Luck, intelligence, family background, organizational abilities, and other aspects all needed to stand out in order to achieve high scores in the rankings round. Among these aspects, family background was the least valuable. After all, the outside world could not directly assist with the rankings round virtual world. Once the virtual world began, even the examiners could not interfere with its progress. This was the most direct confrontation between geniuses, where the wise strategized, the strong broke through with force, and the lucky ones could pick up points just by walking. Mediocre individuals could only serve as foils. On a square in the examination hall, 1,000 candidates stood in a neat and serious formation. On the high platform in front of the formation stood a team of examiners led by 2 forbidden experts. No one dared to make any small movements in front of the forbidden experts. The Overlord of Frost took a step forward. Dear candidates, I believe you have all heard about it. In the college entrance examination rankings, aside from strictly prohibiting the use of consumables from the outside world, there are no other rules. What you need to do is use any means necessary to obtain more college entrance examination points and improve your rankings. In the rankings round, there is no preparation time. From the moment you step into the virtual world, the exam has already begun. Do you understand? Answer me, yes or no. Yes, all the candidates shouted in unison. In that case, on behalf of the Cloud River Province, I wish all of you students success in the college entrance examination and may you achieve outstanding results. The portal, open. With the command of Overlord of Frost, a pale blue teleportation gate appeared in the square. The candidates maintained their queues and walked into the teleportation gate. As soon as Chen Yu walked into the teleportation gate, he noticed that the surroundings had changed. He found himself on a street surrounded by Western-style classical buildings. The attire of the pedestrians on the street also resembled the style of the Western Middle Ages. At this moment, the whole world was gray, and everything was in a state of stillness. In front of Chen Yu, a line of golden characters appeared. Soaring Dragon Era 8020 High School Entrance Exam Ranking Tournament, Demon Dragon and Princess. Background introduction. 1 year ago, the demon dragon descended from the heavens and took away the heir of the Horadric kingdom, Princess Deia. It also occupied the 7 main cities of the kingdom. King Horadric armed himself and attempted to slay the demon dragon, reclaiming his cities and the heir. Mechanism introduction. In this instance, all monsters do not provide experience points. Killing monsters will directly earn high school entrance exam points. Mechanism introduction. In this instance, the starting equipment is the special item, Book of Crests. Placing crests into the book will grant corresponding attributes and skills. The Book of Crests starts with 1 page, and the number of pages can be increased by killing monsters or other means. The initial identity of the candidates as adventurers of the kingdom, affiliated with the Horadric Kingdom camp. Notes. In this exam, candidates can attack each other. However, killing a candidate will not drop high school entrance exam points. Being killed will result in direct elimination, unable to continue participating in the ranking tournament, and the already obtained high school entrance exam points will be halved in settlement. Notes. In this exam, candidates have 7 days of free movement. After 7 days, the ultimate mission will be announced. Regardless of the success or failure of the ultimate mission, the exam will enter the settlement phase. After a few seconds, black flames ignited on the golden characters, then turned into sparks and disappeared. At the same time, the gray world quickly filled with various colors, and time began to flow. Hint. You have obtained the special equipment, Book of Crests. Hint. You have obtained 10 ordinary blank crests. Chen Yu opened the inventory and found an additional white book inside. Book of Crests. Quality. Epic. Pages. 1/100. Crests. None. Effect. This equipment will take effect when placed in the inventory. It provides corresponding abilities based on the placed crests, with 1 crest able to be placed per page. Note. This equipment cannot be taken out of the instance. Blank crest. Quality. Ordinary. Effect. None. Description. A blank crest that does not contain any power. It can be used as currency. In addition, you can hire a crest enchanter to enchant it into an enchanted crest that can enhance attributes or skills. Note. This item cannot be taken out of the instance. Chen Yu closed the inventory, looked around the surroundings, and then walked into a shop on the street that sold crests. The shopkeeper had a red nose and a big beard. "Hey, my brother, are you a novice adventurer? Take a good look around here. There must be many crests suitable for you." The bearded shopkeeper looked at Chen Yu, smiled, and patted the counter. Chen Yu followed his gaze. On the counter, various enchanted crests were displayed. Strength crest. Quality. Ordinary. Effect. Strength +10. Agility crest. Quality. Ordinary. Effect. Agility +10. How much is this? Chen Yu pointed to a +10 strength crest. This is a very good strength crest. You only need 50 blank crests to obtain it. It will definitely provide you with great assistance. The bearded boss enthusiastically promoted, a hint of cunning smile appearing on his honest face. "Boss, I don't have that many blank crests on me right now." Chen Yu asked, "So, where can I get blank crests?" "You can go to the Adventurers Guild to take on quests. After completing them, you can receive a commission. Additionally, sometimes monsters outside the city also carry blank crests. They will drop them when killed," the bearded boss said somewhat disappointedly. "Understood, thank you." Chen Yu nodded. Obviously, in this instance, blank crests are a common currency, equivalent to gold in the outside world. Taking on quests can earn money, and killing monsters can also yield money. "Oh, my dear brother, I wonder how many blank crests you have on you." The bearded boss said, "I can recommend some useful items for you." 10. Chen Yu placed all the blank crests he had on the counter. 10. Huh. The bearded boss's eyes lit up. "In that case, I do have a very useful item here that only requires 10 blank crests. Horadric Kingdom Map. One of the essential items for novice adventurers." The boss took out a map half a meter wide and handed it to Chen Yu. "Alright, I'll buy it." Chen Yu took the map and handed over all 10 blank crests from his inventory to the boss. Additionally, this is also essential for adventurers, and it only requires 500 blank crests. The boss took out another crest and showed it to Chen Yu. Teleportation crest. Quality: normal. Effect: you can record up to 2 teleportation points. When placed in the Book of Crests, you can choose any teleportation point to teleport to. Explanation: teleportation points can be freely changed. Removing the crest will not clear the existing teleportation points. Teleportation requires a 10-second channeling time and cannot be performed while in combat. The teleportation crest is indeed essential for adventurers. The instance map is very large, so if you don't want to waste too much time on the road, you must prepare one or even multiple teleportation crests. I really need it, but unfortunately, I don't have that many blank crests at the moment. Chen Yu said regretfully. It's okay, I can extend credit for you. The bearded boss's face flashed with greed. As long as we establish a credit contract, you can immediately get this teleportation crest. Credit? Aren't you afraid that I'll leave the city and run away with the debt? Chen Yu asked with a smile. That's impossible. The bearded boss played with the teleportation crest. The contract is fair. If you don't comply after signing it, you will be wanted throughout the entire Horadric Kingdom. All merchants will refuse to trade with you, and the Adventurers Guild will also refuse to provide any services for you. Adventurers are the most contract-oriented group of people. I believe you won't choose to breach the contract. Alright, I understand. Chen Yu nodded. So, do you want to sign the contract? The bearded boss took out a contract paper and looked at Chen Yu expectantly. By the way, boss. Chen Yu didn't answer the bearded boss but asked, I heard that a group of ruthless bandits has recently arrived in the city. You're the only one in the shop. Aren't you afraid of being robbed? Of course not. The bearded boss said, I have an alarm system set up in my shop. As long as I press the button, the guards will arrive within 5 minutes to capture the criminals. Alarm button. Is it that one? It does seem very safe. Chen Yu pointed to a conspicuous red button on the wall of the shop. That's right. The bearded boss said proudly, I spent 1,000 blank crests on this alarm system. What if you don't press the button in time? Chen Yu took a step forward and stood between the bearded boss and the button. What do you mean? The bearded boss showed a wary expression. Chen Yu grinned and revealed a brilliant smile. Suddenly, more than 10 thorny spirits appeared around him. One thorny spirit directly swung its vine whip, closing the shop's door. The other thorny spirits instantly extended dozens of vines, tightly entangling the bearded boss. What I mean is, you're being robbed. A few minutes later, Chen Yu walked out of the store and closed the door again. The entire store had been completely looted by him. Within the unsurpassable sacred ground, dozens of enchanted insignias and thousands of blank insignias had been piled up. There were also some miscellaneous items. Regardless of whether they were useful or not, he didn't leave a single thing that could be moved. He had originally planned to familiarize himself with the map before making any plans. However, since the bearded boss wanted to take advantage of him, he had to take the initiative. Just then, Chen Yu heard a notification sound in his ear. Examinee number 36,589, congratulations on completing the achievement, Bright Fire Weapon, gaining 500 points for the college entrance examination. Chen Yu, you can even earn college entrance examination points by robbing. Are you kidding me? However, from this, it can be seen that there are many ways to earn college entrance examination points in the instance, not just by killing monsters. Leaving the store, Chen Yu took out the Horadric Kingdom map and unfolded it to take a look. On the map, the Horadric Kingdom was divided into multiple regions. There were a total of 20 main cities and 1 royal city. On the Demon Dragon side, there were 6 main cities and 1 Demon Dragon city. Interestingly, the 7 cities occupied by the Demon Dragon were roughly arranged in a straight line, like levels in a game, waiting for players to conquer. The ultimate task 7 days later would probably be the decisive battle between the Demon Dragon side and the Kingdom side. Furthermore, the prompt when entering the instance mentioned the camp to which the examinee belonged. With different camps, it meant that examinees could join other camps besides the Horadric Kingdom. Since that's the case, then, these people are also my college entrance examination points. Chen Yu looked around and smiled as he watched the crowds coming and going on the street. Casually stopping a passerby on the street and paying the price of a blank insignia, Chen Yu found the local Adventurers Guild. It was a huge church-like building covering an area of about 10 acres. It was very different from the Adventurers Guild in Western fantasy novels. There were no adventurers drinking and chatting, eating meat heartily. There were only young boys and girls with vigilant expressions. If Chen Yu guessed correctly, the so-called adventurers should all be examinees participating in the college entrance examination, at least the vast majority of them. Inside the Adventurers Guild Hall, there were several huge bulletin boards with pages of paper containing mission details pinned to them. The missions varied, including collecting minerals, herbs, killing monsters, or protecting caravans. At the top of the bulletin board, there were several permanent missions that could be completed repeatedly. However, the rewards for these missions were much lower compared to one-time missions. The area around the bulletin board was crowded with young adventurers, constantly tearing off mission papers and then going to the counter in the hall to accept the missions. In a short while, all the papers on the bulletin board were snatched away. After a few minutes, several maids in maid outfits came over with mission papers and filled the bulletin board again. Chen Yu didn't pay attention to the bulletin board and went straight to the counter in the hall. I want to post a mission. All right, sir. If you want to accept a mission, please present your mission note and your adventurer badge. If you haven't registered as a formal adventurer, please present your book of crests and pay 10 blank insignias for registration. Wait, did you say you want to post a mission? Inside the counter, a blonde, blue-eyed big bear girl was stunned for a moment. Yes, I want to post a missing person mission, Chen Yu said. The college entrance examination's grand instance had a high degree of freedom. He planned to find Li Wei and Su Miaoyu, as well as the descendants of the two forbidden powerhouses, and have the plant life help them earn some points. By the way, let them help collect important information from the college entrance exam copies. He doesn't plan to form factions within the college entrance exam copies, but without organization, it's easy to be clueless. At this time, some additional sources of information are needed. Sir, if you want to issue a task, you also need to present the adventurer badge. The blonde girl said to Chen Yu. Get one for me. Chen Yu handed 10 blank crests and the book of crests to the blonde girl. After a moment, the blonde girl handed the book of crests and a 5-pointed star badge to Chen Yu. Sir, this is your adventurer badge. You can use it to issue or accept tasks. In addition, your adventurer number is Cloud River 32589. Then, help me issue a task. There are 4 people in total. Chen Yu briefly described the names and appearances of the 4 people. The blonde girl made a record and then said to Chen Yu, all right, sir. You have issued a normal missing person task. Each person requires a reward of 100 blank crests. You need to pay a total of 400 blank crests in advance. In addition, tasks issued by the Adventurers Guild will be synchronized in real time to all main city Adventurers Guilds, so there is no need to duplicate the issuance. However, since Solid Rock City is your task issuing point, you can only check the task progress at the Adventurers Guild in Solid Rock City. Okay, Chen Yu handed 400 blank crests to the clerk, then took out the book of crests, inserted a teleportation crest, and set the Adventurers Guild as the teleportation point. The task has been issued, now it only needs to be checked every day. After issuing the task, Chen Yu took out the map again and pondered his next actions. According to the distribution of monsters on the map, the closer to the demon dragon's influence, the higher the level of the monsters. He decided to go directly to the demon dragon's influence area to see if he could kill a large number of monsters and obtain college entrance exam points. In the Adventurers Guild, there are teleportation arrays that lead to various cities. Chen Yu spent 100 blank crests and directly took the teleportation array to the frontline main city, Stronghold City. The Adventurers Guild in Stronghold City was not much different from Chen Yu's birthplace, Solid Rock City. It was a group of candidates scrambling for tasks. In fact, doing adventurer tasks is the legitimate way for candidates to obtain college entrance exam points and funds. The 10 blank crests given when entering the copy are mostly used for candidates to register as adventurers. After leaving the Adventurers Guild in Stronghold City, Chen Yu clearly felt the difference in atmosphere. Solid Rock City is located in the rear of the Horadric Kingdom, with a more relaxed and prosperous atmosphere. Stronghold City, on the other hand, is on the front line, and the streets are filled with a solemn atmosphere. On the nearby city walls, there is a guard post every 5 steps. Not far from Stronghold City, Chen Yu saw a large military camp. Using his detective glasses to observe, the patrol teams and sentinels were all small monsters above level 60. Some elite troops in training even reached levels 80 or 90. Among them, there were even elite units and boss units. Obviously, the Horadric Kingdom is preparing for a war. A war against the demon dragon's forces. From the Horadric Kingdom's army, it can be inferred that the strength of the demon dragon's side is definitely comparable, if not stronger. And the levels of the candidates are generally only in their 20s, or even less than 20. Even if candidates can freely bring equipment into the exam in the college entrance exam ranking competition, it is difficult to make up for the huge power gap caused by the level difference. How can low-level candidates face high-level monsters? Chen Yu believes that the key lies in the Book of Crests. Today, my friend asked me a question. If you found out that your 18-year-old daughter is not your biological child, how would you react? A. Furious. B. Overjoyed. C. Relieved. D. Indifferent. E. Completely uninterested. I said I would choose A, and my friend said, so you're the most abnormal one. I was puzzled at the time. Normal people should all have the reaction A, right? Those who choose B are crazy. Those who choose C probably have hidden motives like having their own actions that hurt their wives. Those who choose D are definitely green saints or love their daughters very much, and E should be the second most normal reaction after A, because knowing that your daughter is not your own makes all expectations and affection for her in vain. I just don't understand why choosing A is considered abnormal. Who understands family members? Book of Crests relies on defeating monsters to increase its number of pages, which is a kind of alternative, leveling up. If the number of pages in the Book of Crests is sufficient, the attributes provided by the crests alone can reach an extremely exaggerated level. The crest borrowed by Chen Yu from the boss with a big beard can provide a maximum of 50 points of a single attribute. The boss with a big beard's shop is just a small shop on the street, and there probably aren't any really good items inside. Chen Yu has never seen high-level attribute crests. But there should be supreme-grade crests that can provide hundreds of attributes with just one. Otherwise, candidates in this instance can only do manual labor and fight small monsters. As a copy for the college entrance examination ranking competition, the role of candidates in it cannot be just a bystander. Outside Stronghold City, there is a sparsely populated wasteland with sparse weeds. The strong wind howls, stirring up clouds of dust, making the sky look particularly murky. In the open wilderness, there are occasional bursts of mournful beast roars. Looking into the distance, there is a continuous black mountain range, with the mountain peaks covered in pure white snow. Behind Stronghold City, it stands in the wasteland like an old soldier holding a horn in a border outpost, desolate, lonely, and full of determination. Passing by the military camp, not long after, there are scattered monster figures appearing ahead. Most of the monsters on the wasteland are wild beasts. A giant wolf, standing over a meter tall, spotted Chen Yu's figure and rushed towards him with a howl. Chen Yu released a probing spell towards it. Wasteland Giant Wolf, level 40 small monster. A few seconds later, the Wasteland Giant Wolf approached and pounced towards Chen Yu. With an agility attribute of over 3,000 points, Chen Yu easily dodged the wolf's attack, then retreated a bit to avoid getting blood splattered on himself later. The Wasteland Giant Wolf failed to land a hit and was about to launch a second attack when it suddenly noticed a rugged human figure standing in front of it. However, this did not weaken the wolf's intention to attack. It directly changed targets and pounced towards the figure with exaggerated curves. However, when it pounced in midair, a huge man-eating flower suddenly unfolded in front of it. So, the Wasteland Giant Wolf crashed straight into the heart of the man-eating flower. In the next moment, the man-eating flower suddenly closed, accompanied by the sound of cutting and chewing. Chen Yu realized that his worries were unnecessary. When the gluttonous spirit appears, not even a drop of blood, let alone bones, will be left behind. You guys, clear the way for me, let's go. Chen Yu summoned a few more spirits and rushed towards the direction of the demon dragon territory. After running for about 10 minutes, two towering mountain ranges appeared ahead. There is a canyon in the middle of the mountains. This canyon is named Howling Canyon on the map and is the boundary between the forces of the Heretic Empire and the Demon Dragon. At the mouth of the canyon, Hundreds of people are gathered in disorder, most likely candidates for the college entrance examination. In the college entrance examination instance, Chen Yu has no interest in joining the crowd and continues to move forward. Just as he walked into the valley, a warrior suddenly walked over and blocked his way. "You, stop." The warrior had a proud look on his face. "Didn't I make it clear enough just now? Howling Canyon has already been booked by our River Dragon Guild. If you don't want to die, then leave quickly and find another place to fight monsters. Otherwise, don't blame the River Dragon Guild for showing no mercy." The River Dragon Guild. Can a guild be formed in the college entrance exam instance? Chen Yu was greatly surprised. Upon hearing this, a candidate immediately stepped forward and whispered to Chen Yu, "The River Dragon Guild was not formed in the instance. It is a large guild in Eastern Capital City, and I heard that the guild leader is a 6th stage expert. Right now, there are several young masters from the River Dragon Guild inside Howling Canyon. They forcefully occupied this leveling spot in the name of the guild. Brother, let's endure for now and avoid conflicts with them. All the examinees from Stronghold City know that Howling Canyon is the best monster grinding spot nearby. They won't be able to occupy this place for long. When more people gather, we'll stand together and kill them." "I see." Chen Yu nodded. No wonder these people gathered here, and there were people trying to persuade him not to act impulsively. So this was their plan. However, Chen Yu didn't have a good impression of these examinees who gathered together. The young masters of the guild must have made certain promises and offered benefits to gather their subordinates. In other words, the River Dragon Guild, which occupied Howling Canyon, had cohesion. As for the people outside, they were just a group of random individuals. Everyone was an examinee with their own thoughts, and no one would be the first to rush forward and fight to the death. If the number of onlookers didn't far exceed the level of the River Dragon Guild, it would be impossible to take over Howling Canyon. However, the time for the college entrance exam was limited, and the examinees outside couldn't wait indefinitely. After waiting for a long time, some people would inevitably leave one after another. The several young masters of the River Dragon Guild probably understood this logic, so they didn't take the group of people outside seriously at all. However, this had nothing to do with Chen Yu. His goal was just to pass through Howling Canyon. "Please make way, I'm just passing by and not competing with you for monsters." Chen Yu walked forward and said to a warrior candidate. "Ha, passing by." The warrior candidate sneered disdainfully. "This is the funniest joke I've heard today. Let me tell you, today, no one can enter Howling Canyon." "Ha ha ha, just passing by." Several other candidates who were also guarding the entrance came over. "You're passing by Howling Canyon, so where do you want to go?" "Demon Dragon Territory. There's a level 50 boss blocking the entrance of Howling Canyon, and all the monsters are also level 50. Tell me, how do you plan to pass by?" A rogue candidate in tight-fitting clothes sneered. Another knight candidate also spoke up. "I don't care if you're passing by or just passing through. Today, if you want to enter Howling Canyon, you have to step over our corpses." "Are you saying that examinees leave behind corpses when they die?" Chen Yu was greatly shocked. "Are you sure? When examinees die in the instance, they don't actually die, so how could they leave behind corpses?" The several candidates guarding the entrance were clearly taken aback. They didn't know the answer to this question either. After all, up until now, they hadn't seen anyone die. A few seconds later, the warrior who had first stopped Chen Yu reacted and impatiently said, "Whether there are corpses or not, you can't pass through here anyway, unless we die." Boom! A burst of explosion sounded. The warrior who was speaking turned into a white light and disappeared. Behind Chen Yu, a thorny spirit slowly retracted its vine whip. Fact proves that there are no corpses left behind when examinees die. Chen Yu's mouth curled into a sly smile. "So, unfortunately, I won't be able to step over your corpses." Planter. That's a plant life. Several gatekeeper candidates were shocked and kept retreating. This plant life could instantly kill warrior candidates, so it was obvious that it could also kill them. This planter was clearly not something they could provoke. "I'm telling you, we are from the Wylong Guild. If you kill our people, you won't have a good ending. Not only in the instance, even if you leave the exam instance, you will be hunted down by our Wylong Guild." Several gatekeeper candidates attempted to intimidate Chen Yu with their words. However, Their response was a series of vine whips covered in thorns. Several white lights flashed. The gatekeeper candidates' journey in the exam ranking competition came to an end. They didn't take action earlier because these candidates who occupied Howling Canyon didn't conflict with him. But it was difficult to reason with these fools. Since these people chose to block Chen Yu's path, he had no choice but to send them on their way. As for the Wylong Guild, what kind of trash were they? Their guild leader outside, who was ranked 6th, would know about this. Not to mention hunting him down, they might even have to come with gifts to apologize. With 10,000 reward points at stake, even taboo powerhouses would have to carefully consider before making a move against Chen Yu. Chen Yu led more than 10 spirit beasts into Howling Canyon. The group of candidates outside didn't make a move. Obviously, they still feared the Wylong Guild. With a powerful figure like Chen Yu leading the way, they didn't dare to follow. It was clear that a mob couldn't accomplish anything. Within the canyon, there was a chilling atmosphere and howling winds. There were moving skeleton frames and translucent ghosts everywhere. Skeleton soldier, level 50 minion. Resentful ghost, level 50 minion. Attack it. Chen Yu pointed at a ghost and said to a thorn spirit beast. This was his first time encountering spirit body monsters. According to the book's description, spirit body monsters had spirit body armor, which could greatly reduce physical damage. This, greatly, fluctuated between 70% and 100%. Powerful spirit body monsters could completely resist physical damage, similar to the elemental form of the original elves. The thorn spirit beast received Chen Yu's command and immediately swung a vine whip towards the resentful ghost. Bang! The vine whip passed through the resentful ghost, hitting the ground and raising a cloud of dust. Looking at the resentful ghost, it was directly split in half. However, its health bar didn't reach the bottom, only decreasing by about 1/3. Sure enough, in less than a second, the two halves of the resentful ghost reassembled into a whole, emitting a sharp howl as it charged towards the thorn spirit beast. The thorn spirit beast had some intelligence. Upon realizing that its attack didn't instantly kill a same-level minion, it immediately showed an angry expression and swung a total of 10 vine whips. Level 10 Ruthless Lashing. In just 1 second, the area where the resentful ghost was located was struck dozens of times. The ground was filled with countless craters and cracks. Naturally, the resentful ghost died instantly. Don't be so excited, it's not worth it. Chen Yu rubbed the head of the thorn spirit beast. A level 50 legendary level plant life, the thorn spirit beast couldn't withstand even a level 10 skill, let alone a same level boss. It turned out that the physical immunity of the ghost minions wasn't well practiced. However, just to be safe, Chen Yu still summoned the original elves. Xiao Guang and Xiao Miao sat quietly on his shoulders, one on each side. Xiaoan turned invisible and went somewhere, but she probably didn't dare to take risks and go to the other side of the world. The earth spirit floated in front of Chen Yu, holding a sword in both hands and vigilantly surveying the surrounding monsters. Xiao Feng flew around excitedly. Well, it seems she wasn't flying excitedly, but rather Xiao Yan was desperately chasing after her from behind. Seeing Xiao Feng holding a lollipop candy ball and Xiao Yan's angry expression, Chen Yu probably understood what had happened. You two, stop playing. Can't you see the current situation? Earth Spirit scolded Xiao Feng and Xiao Yan softly, get ready for battle. Xiao Feng immediately stopped and looked around in confusion. Xiao Yan didn't break in time and crashed into Xiao Feng's back. The two little spirits piled up and smashed into Chen Yu's chest. Chen Yu smiled slightly and separated Xiao Feng and Xiao Yan. Then, to mediate the conflict, he gave Xiao Yan another candy. Xiao Yan held the candy and looked around, showing an excited expression. Wow, so many monsters. Master, do we need to fight? Master, do you need me to purify this polluted land for you? Xiao Guang's sweet voice also sounded in Chen Yu's ears. Not for now. Chen Yu shook his head. I encountered some monsters with physical immunity, but they're not completely immune. The thorny spirit can handle them. I let you come out to play outside, just in case. With a few primal spirits, Chen Yu continued to move forward along the canyon. The entrance of the canyon was relatively narrow, only about 10 meters wide, but it widened as they went further in. After walking a few hundred meters, the gap between the two mountain walls had already reached over 200 meters. The density of monsters in the canyon was very high, with countless skeletons and ghosts. I wonder what's wrong with the Wide Dragon Guild. With such a wide area, can you guys clear it? Chen Yu couldn't help but shake his head. He had already gone deep into the canyon for hundreds of meters and still hadn't seen anyone else from the Wide Dragon Guild. There were quite a few people who could fit in such a large area outside. These are all college entrance exam points, they can't be wasted. Chen Yu directly summoned hundreds of plant spirits and cleared the monsters along the way. The plant spirits cut through the canyon like a razor. Wherever they went, all the monsters were annihilated. Killed 10 skeleton warriors, college entrance exam points +1. Killed 10 resentful ghosts, college entrance exam points +1. On the virtual scoreboard, the numbers representing college entrance exam points kept jumping. In addition to the changes in college entrance exam points, the growth progress of the Book of Crests was also constantly increasing. For every 2 level 50 monsters killed, the Book of Crests gained 1 point of experience. After the college entrance exam points increased by 20 points, the Book of Crests went from 1 page to 2. From the second page to the third page, the experience requirement remained at 100 points. With the plant spirits advancing, Chen Yu quickly flipped through the Book of Crests to the 10th page. The experience requirement from the 10th page to the 11th page increased tenfold, from 100 to 1000. However, according to Chen Yu's monster clearing speed, 1000 points wouldn't take too long. While clearing monsters, the plant spirits also continuously brought the blank crests dropped by the monsters to Chen Yu. Chen Yu's hands were never empty, and he was constantly collecting the blank crests. After a few minutes, he became a little impatient and directly summoned a greedy spirit, letting her grow a huge man-eating flower. When the plant spirits brought the blank crests, Chen Yu had them put them directly into the man-eating flower, and he would collect them every once in a while. The rate at which monsters respawned in the Howling Canyon was also very fast. As Chen Yu walked, the ground was scraped off. However, when he looked back, he found that there were scattered monsters appearing not far behind. It wouldn't be long before the entire canyon would be filled with monsters again. No wonder this place is called a monster-spawning treasure land, attracting a large number of examinees. After advancing for several kilometers, Chen Yu finally saw human figures appearing ahead. There were about 300 to 400 professionals forming a circular formation, continuously killing undead monsters in the canyon. The mighty army of plant life cleared the way, with a grand momentum. The professionals forming the circular formation were not blind, naturally they noticed it right away. However, the other side had no intention of communicating with Chen Yu. Without saying a word, they immediately launched a series of long-range attacks towards Chen Yu. Arrows whistled through the air, arriving in an instant. Magic spells and lights surged, seemingly boundless in power. However, for a level 50 epic plant life, these attacks were nothing more than a scratch. The thorny vine monsters in the front row swung their whips, creating an impenetrable barrier. The long-range attacks from the Wylong Guild professionals were easily shot down. This is for the best, I don't want to waste my breath. Chen Yu raised his hand and waved forward. Immediately, hundreds of epic thorny vine monsters and dozens of legendary level thorny spirit monsters raised their whips. Countless poisonous spikes shot towards the enemy's formation. The outermost defensive professionals in the formation were the first to suffer. Even the tankiest shield warriors and knights couldn't withstand a few spikes. Next, it was the warriors, martial artists, and other ranged professions in the inner circle. Within a few seconds, hundreds of professionals were instantly killed and ascended. After the round of attacks, only a few shield warriors holding large shields were left alive. They were able to survive not only because they had thick skin and strong vitality, but also because the people in front of them acted as meat shields. Perhaps realizing that the attack had temporarily ceased, a few shield warriors in the back, 2 men and 1 woman, raised their hands and stood up. The male professional standing in the front shouted, "We surrender, don't kill us. My grandfather is the vice president of the Eastern Capital City River Dragon Guild." "Your grandfather is the vice president? How impressive. I thought your father was the president." "Kill them." Chen Yu gave the order, and several thorny spirit monsters immediately rushed forward, swinging dozens of vines, instantly turning the professionals into white light. Cutting the grass and removing the roots. Since they had already started killing, it was better to kill them all and not give them any chance to cause trouble. These examinees gathered by the Howling Guild's second generation were just a small episode. After dealing with them, Chen Yu continued to move forward, leading the plant life to slaughter all the way. The width of the canyon began to narrow, and the density of monsters increased. After advancing a few more kilometers, two bosses blocked Chen Yu's path. One was a more than 5-meter-tall skeleton general, wearing tattered armor. The other was a 3-meter-long humanoid phantom. Level 50 boss, skeleton general. Level 50 boss, wailing specter. Beside the two bosses, there were more than 10 level 50 elite monsters. When encountering a boss, there was nothing to say, just start the fight directly. The lily flower monster weakened with pollen, the thorny vine monster shot poisonous spikes, and the man-eating flower monster spat acid. Under a round of long-range attacks, the skeleton general died instantly, turning into a pile of bone powder blown away by the valley's cold wind. The elite skeleton soldiers and elite ghosts were also all eliminated. Only the wailing specter remained floating alone in place. It's completely immune to physical attacks. Chen Yu was somewhat surprised. After enduring so many attacks, the health bar of the wailing specter boss didn't decrease at all. At this moment, the wailing ghost suddenly opened its mouth and let out a sharp howl. The sound was like scraping glass with a knife, amplified 100 times, incredibly piercing and disturbing, making people feel restless and wanting to turn and run. Chen Yu was slightly startled, and snapped out of his irritated state. Battle prompt. You have been affected by the boss's skill, fear, for 5 seconds. Battle prompt. Due to the suppression of your mental attribute, your control time is shortened. Having taken a hit from the boss's skill, Chen Yu's health bar actually suffered a slight damage, decreasing a little. Immediately, a faint green aura appeared on Chen Yu's body. The depleted health bar was instantly replenished. World Tree Effect 2, Breath of Life. Although not within the unsurpassable sacred ground, he constantly enjoyed the protection of the Breath of Life. No matter how much damage he took, as long as he didn't die, he could instantly return to full health. How to? The time to serve the master faithfully has come. Chen Yu's face was serious. Go. How to was slightly stunned, turning back with a bewildered look at Chen Yu. But then, she drew the golden longsword at her waist and raised it fervently. Yes, master, I will fight for you. With that, she wielded the sword in both hands and charged towards the wailing ghost boss. In an instant, the distance of over 10 meters was covered, and Howdu turned into a golden lightning, passing through the body of the ghost boss. The next moment, the ghost boss turned into a wisp of smoke, dissipating into thin air. Prompt. Killing level 50 boss, skeleton general, plus 100 points for the college entrance examination. Prompt. Killing level 50 boss, wailing ghost, plus 100 points for the college entrance examination. Both bosses died, dropping a crest each. Over a dozen elite monsters also dropped some crests. A thorny spirit used a vine whip to roll up the crests and handed them to Chen Yu. The skeleton general dropped a rare, high-level strength crest which, when equipped, provides 200 points of strength. The wailing ghost boss also dropped a rare crest, but it increases the mental attribute by 200 points. The crests dropped by the elite monsters were only common level, with attribute enhancements ranging from 20 to 50 points. Chen Yu took out the Book of Crests. Having been grinding monsters all the way in Howling Canyon, the number of pages in the Book of Crests had reached 17. Even if we subtract the page just opened by killing the two bosses, there were still 16 pages. In other words, from entering Howling Canyon until now, over 12,000 monsters had been killed. Chen Yu selected the crest with the highest attribute and placed it in the Book of Crests. The teleportation crest on the first page was not removed, and the following 16 pages brought a total attribute bonus of 920 points. Other candidates' Book of Crests would not have as many pages as Chen Yu's, but after 7 days, they should be able to open about 10 pages. Candidates with strength, whether it's killing monsters, doing quests, or even making money to buy, should have no problem obtaining a full set of rare crests. Such candidates don't need too many, just a few thousand, to form a force that cannot be ignored. After killing the two bosses, Howling Canyon was cleared. Walking out of the canyon's entrance, the view suddenly opened up. Compared to the sandstorm on the other side of the canyon, the scenery within the demon dragon's territory was surprisingly beautiful. The ground was covered with lush green grass, full of vitality, without the desolate and ruined scene under the rule of monsters. Within the demon dragon's territory, there were also many areas where monsters could be grinded, each area guarded by a boss. Moreover, all the monster levels were above level 50. It was estimated that only in the next 2 days would the top candidates with strength enter these areas. However, Chen Yu didn't plan to encounter the area boss's bad luck. Instead, he followed the deadly route on the map and headed straight for the first city under the demon dragon's command. River Sun City is located in a residential building on the outskirts of the city. A girl with her legs crossed lazily leans against the sofa. The girl is wearing a light blue dress, with a light yellow short-sleeved sweater over her upper body, and her 2 slender arms crossed in front of her chest. Her eyes are calm, like the calm sea under a clear sky, vast and mysterious. At this moment, the girl's gaze is focused on the TV hanging on the wall. On the TV, the rankings of the first round of the college entrance examination are scrolling. At the bottom of the screen, there is a preview, program preview, 1900, 8020 Soaring Dragon Empire College Entrance Examination Ranking Competition Live Broadcast. In the picture, there are countless names of candidates, and the rankings are rapidly moving upwards, but the top 10 have always remained at the top of the list. 18,500 points. The highest award for 2 forbidden powerhouses. Not bad, impressive. In the ranking competition, strive to become the national champion and bring honor to the family. A smile appears at the corner of the girl's mouth as she picks up a photo frame on the coffee table in front of her. In the photo frame is a picture of her and a boy. In the photo, the girl is smiling sweetly, her chin resting on the boy's head, her arms crossed around his neck, and her hands clasped in front of his chest. The boy has a helpless expression. Suddenly, the girl's smile fades, she puts down the photo frame, and looks towards the door of her house. 1 second later, bang, a loud noise is heard. The position of the door lock is pierced from the outside by a crimson hand with sharp fingertips like beast claws. Creak, the door, now without a lock, is pulled open from the outside by someone. The owner of the crimson hand walks into the house. He is a middle-aged man dressed in a black robe, with a sinister face. The girl's face darkens, she stands up and walks towards the middle-aged man, blocking him at the entrance, and says coldly, "You broke my door, traitor, I found you." The middle-aged man reveals a crazy and cruel smile. "You betrayed the church, betrayed your faith, betrayed my God. As the appointed archbishop of my God, your betrayal must face the harshest punishment. As an executor of the Church of Severance, I will tear your body into pieces, bit by bit. You broke my door." The girl says seriously again, "I'm very angry now. Face judgment." The middle-aged man suddenly rushes towards the girl, his hands emitting a crimson light, like thick blood, and his sharp claws stab towards the girl's heart. So, the consequences will be severe. The girl's eyes instantly turn pure silver. In the void beside her, one after another eyes of different sizes appear. The largest one is as big as a basketball, and the smallest one is only the size of a lychee. These eyes are wide open, with pupils as silver as the girl's. On both sides of each eyeball, there are pure white flawless wings. From these eyes, chains of golden light shoot out, instantly entangling the middle-aged man who was charging towards her, suspending him in midair. This is the power of heaven. The middle-aged man's bloodshot eyes bulge out, and he incredulously shouts, "No! No, how is this possible? You have received the grace of my God, the baptism of abyss, why can you still control the power of heaven? Why do you have angels following you? Heaven, abyss." The girl walks slowly to the middle-aged man, power is just a tool. Then, she shakes her head at the middle-aged man and extends her right hand, "Why don't you understand?" Her right hand also emits a crimson light, just like the middle-aged man earlier. Under the radiance of abyss magic, her smooth and white skin turns blood red, and her nails suddenly grow to more than 2 inches long, sharp as knives. Chasing after power is one thing, but you have deceived yourself with your own lies, forgetting that you are human. Faith, church, demon god. The so-called demon god is nothing more than a slightly higher level monster, an experience point and a treasure chest that can move. You actually treat it as a deity. Ridiculous. Pitiful. The girl extends her hand forward, and the sharp claws cut through the middle-aged man's chest like cutting through jelly, piercing his heart. Then, she gently pulls it out, revealing a beating heart. Plop. The middle-aged man spits out a mouthful of blood, and the light in his eyes gradually fades. In the end, he still maintains an expression of disbelief. Look. The girl held her heart in front of the middle-aged man. Your heart is also red. Even though I am also a professional, and even though I have unlimited potential, why do I have to worship a mere high-level monster? Although I once joined you, I still don't really understand. After saying that, the girl threw her heart behind her. Behind the girl, a crack appeared in the middle of the largest eyeball, and then it suddenly opened, revealing a huge mouth full of sharp teeth. The giant mouth flew towards the heart in the air and swallowed it in one bite. I'm giving it to you. The girl pointed indifferently at the middle-aged man's corpse and said to the eyeball that had turned into a giant mouth. Eat it all, don't leave a drop of blood. If you can't finish him, then I'll eat you. Just like this. The girl reached out her left hand and grabbed one side of the smallest eyeball's white wings. The crimson nails of her right hand lightly pinched the other wing of the eyeball, breaking it off. The eyeball struggled and jumped in the girl's hand, but the side of the wing that was grabbed could never escape the girl's delicate palm. The girl smiled, put the eyeball with one wing broken into her mouth, lightly pulled the part connecting the wing and the eyeball, breaking off the remaining wing, and casually discarded it. Then, her jaw moved slightly. Phew, a slight bursting sound. Angels, truly a memorable delicacy. Swallowing the juice in her mouth, the girl licked her lips and looked at the floating eyeballs beside her. Dozens of eyeballs trembled and quickly closed, disappearing into the air. Only the largest one was still trembling as it devoured the middle-aged man's corpse. Tisk, what a mess. The girl sighed, shaking her head at the tattered door. I rarely come back, and it ends up like this. I wanted to see my little brother's impressive appearance on TV. But my little brother didn't see it, and the door at home got broken. Never mind, I'm leaving. Children will have their own blessings, let him go. As his older sister, I can only help him this far. She returned to the sofa, took out an exquisite gift box, placed it in front of a photo frame, pressed her index and middle fingers together, and lightly touched the head of the young boy in the photo, whispering, "Little brother, do your best." Then, she looked at the large eyeball and said coldly, "You, make sure everything is in order before my little brother comes back. If anything goes missing, I'll give you a chance to choose your own way of death." After saying that, she walked to the window in the living room, opened it, and leapt out. In midair, two huge pure white wings suddenly popped out from behind the girl. With a gentle flap of the wings, her figure disappeared into the distant sky. Cloud River Province, Nine Peaks City, the College Entrance Examination Test Center. Inside the command center, two forbidden powerhouses and a chief examiner and supervisor were sitting upright. They stared intently at the large screen in front of them. On the screen was the scene of the official college entrance examination ranking competition. The first round of the college entrance examination was not shown to the public. But the second round was broadcasted nationwide. This was to showcase the talent of the new generation of the Soaring Dragon Empire to the whole country. The initial live broadcast of the college entrance examination ranking competition actually had a fishing meaning. By relying on the reputation of geniuses, those who harbored ill intentions from enemy countries or even the enemy world would be lured out and eliminated in one strike. But later on, as more and more were lured, the fish became smarter and wouldn't easily take the bait. Now, there were basically no fools from other forces trying to attack the new generation of geniuses from the Soaring Dragon Empire after the college entrance examination. The live broadcast of the college entrance examination ranking competition did not follow a specific candidate most of the time, and mostly used a macro perspective. At this moment, the TV screen showed a Western medieval-style city. The scene kept moving, accompanied by the voice of the commentator. Just now, we have already shown everyone the map of this college entrance examination ranking competition and introduced the forces on the map in detail. Now, let's take a look at the border point between the forces on the map, Howling Canyon. In the late-stage map of the competition, the forces on both sides will probably engage in a major battle near here, and our candidates will also showcase their skills here. But according to the official introduction, this is still a low-level monster grinding sacred land. As you can see, there have been candidates entering Howling Canyon to grind monsters. It seems like there are fewer monsters in the canyon. Could it be that they have already been cleared by the main force? Chapter 91. Kyoto, the live broadcast room for the college entrance examination ranking competition. In charge of the live broadcast of this year's college entrance examination is the well-known host, Beastman Doesn't Wash Hands, and Little Dumpling. The two have previously co-hosted several large-scale programs. However, this is the first time for the college entrance examination ranking competition, which attracts high attention nationwide and even overseas. At this moment, the two famous hosts are feeling a bit anxious. In the early stage of the college entrance examination ranking competition, because the candidates are focusing on collecting information and exploring copies, there is not much grandeur and the content is dull. The Howling Canyon, which attracts a large number of candidates due to its concentrated monster population, is meant to showcase the skills and abilities of the talented candidates of this year. But when they switched the screen, they found that although there were quite a few people in Howling Canyon, there were hardly any monsters. For most viewers, this situation may not seem like a problem. But for the two hosts, it has already disrupted their commentary rhythm. The first step of mobilizing the audience's emotions has failed, which can be considered a significant live broadcast accident. While Beastman Doesn't Wash Hands is trying to smooth things over, Little Dumpling quickly called over several examiners who were in charge of coordinating with them. What's going on? Didn't you say that Howling Canyon is the early stage monster grinding sacred land? Why are there so few monsters? We don't know either. The examiners looked at each other. The information about Howling Canyon is publicly available, and as long as the candidates have been to the Adventurers Guild, they can find out and choose to go there first. In the entire area, the types of monsters are relatively single, with only 2 types of level 50 undead. They have thin skin, low health, and low damage. The key is that the monster density is high, and the respawn rate is fast enough to accommodate thousands of candidates grinding monsters. But now, Howling Canyon is like it has been shaved with a razor. If it weren't for subsequent respawns, there probably wouldn't be a single monster left. This is simply heartbreaking. Could it be that the top-ranked geniuses from each province formed a team and cleared out Howling Canyon? That's impossible, not to mention that the top-ranked geniuses from each province won't all be assigned to the same main city. Even if they are together, they wouldn't form a team so quickly and purposefully clear out Howling Canyon, right? Now is not the time to discuss this. Think quickly, where else can there be a large number of candidates showcasing their abilities? Little Dumpling urged. Right, the Wind Howl Mountains in the Kingdom's territory is also a monster grinding area no less than Howling Canyon. One examiner suggested, maybe we can broadcast the Wind Howl Mountains. No, another examiner vetoed, the information about the Wind Howl Mountains is not publicly available. At least wait until the candidates receive the task before people start going there. There probably aren't many people there now. You guys discuss it, I need to go save the situation quickly. Little Dumpling didn't have time to discuss with the examiners and quickly returned to the live broadcast position. During the time when the live broadcast content was not rich and lacked highlights, it was the time to showcase the host's skills. Whether it's being funny, telling jokes, or chatting, the atmosphere needs to be heated up and not cold. Although Beastman Doesn't Wash Hands is powerful, he also can't handle this situation alone. He needs someone to cooperate with him. Just as the two were warming up, the director also started to switch camera angles continuously, looking for more interesting shots. After several switches, the camera finally stopped. In the frame, there were more than 10 candidates besieging a 5-meter-tall, bulky ogre boss. When Beastman Doesn't Wash Hands saw this scene, he immediately discreetly ended the topic he was discussing with Little Dumpling and said, "All right, everyone can see that our team of candidates is besieging a level 40 boss. The team is well equipped, with 2 mages, 3 archers, 2 supports, 2 healers, 1 shield warrior, and 1 knight as the tank." At this moment, Little Dumpling continued, but the core of this team is the 2 martial artists who are moving around the boss. Their positions and movements are very smooth and pleasing to the eye, and they also have impressive damage. By the way, Beastman, they seem familiar, do you know their identities? Of course, I did my homework in advance. Beast Man doesn't wash hands smiled knowingly and nodded at Little Dumpling. The male martial artist is named Li Hao, ranking 3rd in the Kyoto City exam venue. He scored a high score of 1480 in the first round of the college entrance examination. The female martial artist is even more impressive. Yuan Xiao, the first sister of Kyoto City, achieved an exaggerated score of 2360 in the first round of the college entrance examination. Although they are both martial artist professions, Li Hao follows the fierce route. With his powerful Xingyi fist technique, his punch is invincible. Don't be fooled by the boss's size, it will tremble under his iron fist. On the contrary, Little Dumpling said, Yuan Xiao takes the route of using softness to overcome hardness. Her moves are agile and elegant, her attacks are unpredictable, you can never guess her next move. At this moment, Li Hao in the screen leapt up and landed a punch with the force of 1,000 caddies on the chest of the ogre boss. At the same time, Yuan Xiao had already circled behind the ogre, and with great force, she swept the boss's legs. With the combined force, they knocked the boss down. The rest of the team members started mindlessly attacking. What a beautiful combination combo! Orc Unwashed Hands exclaimed, clapping his hands. Li Hao took advantage of the boss's attack interval to leap up, accurately predicting the moment when the boss would be stiff after the attack, and delivered a powerful Xingyi cannon fist. Yuan Xiao, on the other hand, attacked the boss's lower body at the same time, directly knocking the boss down. The Shield Warrior and the Knight move in, restricting the boss's movements, providing support and buffs, while the back row starts outputting without pressure. The boss is powerless to fight back, its health bar is steadily decreasing. The boss wants to struggle to get up, but Li Hao and Yuan Xiao's attacks always hit its weak points, leaving it no chance to resist. Great! With a focused burst of damage, the boss's health bar is empty. Everyone, did you see that? This is the combat awareness of our Soaring Dragon Empire's new generation of talents. They are not fragile flowers that can't withstand wind and rain. They are the rising sun, the backbone of the new generation of Soaring Dragon Empire. Quote. Orc Unwashed Hands made a passionate speech. But his peripheral vision glanced at the perspective of the live audience. A boss battle like this instantly ignited the atmosphere in the live stream room, with the barrage increasing by tens of times. The two commentators finally breathed a sigh of relief and smiled at each other. In the examination room, after leaving Howling Canyon, Chen Yu crossed 3 maps. The first main city of the Demon Dragon faction was finally in sight. From the outside, the main city of the Demon Dragon faction was not much different from the main city of the Horadric Kingdom. Even the soldiers on the city walls were exactly the same as ordinary humans. At this moment, the city gate of the main city opened, and a muscular general wearing heavy armor and a large red cloak, leading thousands of cavalry, galloped towards Chen Yu. Chen Yu used the Identify skill. Guardian Iskander of Origin Gate City, level 80 Bronze Boss. Elite Knight of Origin Gate City, level 70 Elite. Xylulu. The boss rode up and stopped in front of Chen Yu, speaking loudly with a rough voice. Adventurer from Herodic, to appear before me alone at this time, you are strong. Thank you for the compliment. Chen Yu politely smiled, you're not bad either. Iskander was slightly stunned, then burst into laughter, ha ha ha. Then, he dismounted and took off the heavy sword hanging on the horse's back. I long to fight with the strong. I desire to duel with the brave. Come on. Draw your weapon and let me experience a thrilling battle. Battle. Chen Yu shook his head, I won't fight you, it's not interesting. Why? Iskander frowned, his face full of anger, do you think I'm not worthy? Or is it the soldiers behind me that are pressuring you? If that's the case, I can make them step back. No need, that's not what I mean, Chen Yu said, all you want is a fight. He waved his hand, and numerous humanoid plant creatures appeared behind him, with 200-meter-long cloudvine vines appearing beside him. And what I want is war. A sudden influx of plant life left the boss somewhat bewildered. Chen Yu took a few steps back and retreated into the protection of the plant life. In this day and age, who still plays the game of fighting in front of the formation? He is a planter, not someone skilled in one-on-one combat. Kill them all. Chen Yu gave the order. The plant life immediately launched an assault on the elite heavy cavalry in front of them. A group of delicate young girls charged towards the heavily armored and high-ranking heavy cavalry, seemingly with a hint of flirtation. However, in the moment of contact, the seemingly flirtatious girls suddenly revealed their fangs and transformed into ferocious beasts among the sheep. Countless giant man-eating flowers bloomed instantly, enveloping each heavy cavalryman. Thick vine whips were swiftly swung, capable of turning a heavy cavalryman into a pulp with a single strike. These epic plant lives were only slightly weaker than ordinary bosses of the same level. Facing a level 70 elite monster, they still had a significant advantage in attributes. Iskander, the defender of Origin Gate City, quickly raised his heavy sword, shouting loudly and commanding his soldiers to defend and counterattack. A gluttonous spirit and a thorny spirit both set their sights on the boss. The gluttonous spirit was the first to make a move. 3 flower stems extended from her back. The 3 man-eating flowers that bloomed at the top bit towards the boss. The previously foolproof skill failed to work on the bronze boss. Iskander swung his giant sword, instantly cutting the 3 man-eating flowers in half. At that moment, 20 vine whips attacked, unleashing rapid and violent strikes. Level 10 Ruthless Lash. Ping ping ping. The sound of metal clashing rang out. Iskander raised his giant sword to block each vine whip, even finding the opportunity to counterattack and cut off several vine whips. However, out of the 20 vine whips, one finally seized the opportunity and struck Iskander's shoulder. A muffled sound of impact. The metal shoulder armor dented, and the boss's health bar slightly decreased, probably by about 1%. Die. The boss angrily charged towards the thorny spirit, swinging his giant sword and unleashing a gray crescent-shaped sword aura. The targeted thorny spirit, along with several epic thorny vine spirits behind her, were all cut into 2. Their upper bodies fell to the ground, quickly disintegrating and dehydrating into a pile of withered vines. However, their lower bodies were unaffected. Moreover, new green sprouts had already begun to grow at the severed ends. Indeed, a level 80 bronze boss. A single legendary level plant is no match for him. The attribute growth of legendary level plant life is similar to that of a bronze boss. But the level of his subordinates is a whole 30 levels lower than the bronze boss. After reaching level 50, the growth of a professional's attributes will increase significantly, and monsters are the same. A level difference of 30 represents a much larger attribute gap, not to mention the bonus from professional attributes. If it were an ordinary professional, this strike might have killed them directly. Fortunately, plant life has a very strong survival ability. Even if they were cut in half at the waist, they could still continue to live. The boss obviously noticed this and continued to charge towards the thorny spirit, determined to kill her. But I won't let you have your way. Chen Yu said to the abyss thorny spirit beside him, go, meet him. Yes, master. Abyss thorn spirit replied stiffly, then rushed towards the boss. Chen Yu calmly walked forward and retrieved several half-dead plant lives back to the unsurpassable sacred ground, then looked at the battle between the boss and abyss spirit. The attributes of the abyss thorn spirit were twice that of a normal thorn spirit, with all 3 attributes of strength, agility, and physique reaching 6,000 points, which was already comparable to the boss. However, the boss was obviously more skilled in combat and more agile. After a while of fighting, the abyss thorn spirit had already endured several skills from the boss, and its health bar had decreased by 1/3. On the other hand, the boss suffered minimal damage, less than 1/10. This was also the weakness of his plant lives, their lack of combat experience. Although their attributes were overwhelming, in a situation where the combat power was similar, they needed the guidance of a planter to fully exert their combat power. Other planters were fully immersed in commanding, wishing they could turn into plants and fight themselves. But Chen Yu, in order to cultivate the independent combat ability of his plant lives, never interfered too much in their battles. Anyway, the plant lives under his command could evolve to the legendary level at the very least, possessing some intelligence. Combat experience could be slowly cultivated. Master, let me burn him. Xiao Yan saw that the abyss thorn spirit was unable to end the battle and immediately wanted to give it a try. No need. Chen Yu shook his head and sent out the other 2 abyss thorn spirits as well. In fact, the abyss thorn spirit still had the trump card skill of demonization, which could greatly enhance its combat power. But demonization required the consumption of abyss magic, which was not worth it in this situation. Iskander was not an agile type of monster to begin with. Facing an abyss thorn spirit, it could barely dodge its attacks. With 3 against 1, it immediately fell into a disadvantage. Originally, it could have found an opportunity to counterattack, but now it could only focus on defense. Relying on the knight's high armor and high health, the 3 abyss thorn spirits couldn't kill it for a while. While the boss was in a stalemate, the other plant lives under Chen Yu's command were not just spectators. They swiftly swept through the battlefield, killing all the thousands of elite monsters brought by Iskandar. Seeing that the plant lives had already started cleaning up the battlefield, Chen Yu felt that there was no need to continue the stalemate, so he directly released plant enhancement on one of the abyss thorn spirits. Plant enhancement LV10 increases all attributes of plant lives by 100%, lasts for 100 seconds, cooldown of 300 seconds. The plant enhancement skill was strong against the strong and weak against the weak. For ordinary planters who didn't have plant lives with outstanding attributes, using it was equivalent to nothing. Powerful planters, like Joe Bowen, a mentor at Cloud River University, possessed epic-level plant lives. Although they were poorly cultivated and their attributes were not on the same level as Chen Yu's epic-level plant lives, with one enhancement, they could probably fight against ordinary bosses of the same level. At that time, Joe Bowen taught Chen Yu and emphasized that planters must spare no effort in cultivating high-quality plant lives, which was the reason for this. The attributes of the Abyss Thorn Spirit itself were already exaggerated, with all 3 attributes except for Spirit reaching 6,000 points. After being doubled by the plant enhancement skill, they directly exceeded 10,000. The poor boss had no idea that the opponent in front of him was of a completely different level. Seeing several vines attacking, unable to block them all, it immediately gave up on the fastest one and chose to take the hit, then block the other vines. However, boom, a muffled sound came. The enhanced vines of the Abyss Thorn Spirit struck the boss's chest solidly. The boss was instantly sent flying, and deep dents appeared on its armor. Its health bar, which was originally half full, instantly dropped to less than 1/10. The plant lives didn't have the habit of waiting for their opponents to stand up. Taking advantage of their victory, the 3 Abyss Thorn Spirits pursued and attacked, their vines striking the boss like raindrops, directly emptying the little bit of health it had left. Killed level 80 bronze boss Iskandar, gained 3,200 points for the college entrance examination. The elite cavalry and generals guarding Origin Gate City have been completely wiped out, except for the benefits of the college entrance exam points. The level of the Book of Crests has also skyrocketed, from 17 pages to 20 pages. From 20 pages to 21 pages, the experience required for leveling up has increased from 1,000 to 10,000. This time, the Book of Crests was unable to open the 21st page, but the experience bar has already filled up more than half. After the boss's death, it was discovered that all the enemies had been eliminated, and the 3 Abyss Thorn Spirits immediately started fighting each other over the corpses. The one strengthened by Chen Yu took advantage of the fact that the strengthening time had not yet expired and overwhelmed the 2 sisters with its attributes, wrapping them up and throwing them out, while enjoying the boss's corpse alone. The other 2 Abyss Thorn Spirits had no choice but to search for more valuable corpses on the battlefield. At the location where the boss died, a total of 3 items were left behind. 2 crests and a diary. Chen Yu picked up the diary and immediately received a prompt from the heavens. Prompt: due to the title, Measure the Heavens in 3 feet, you have obtained an additional hidden clue, Princess Delia's diary. Chen Yu immediately opened the diary, but the contents were all in a language he couldn't understand. However, the prompt from the heavens directly translated the content for him. The general meaning is as follows. The current queen is a poisonous stepmother who is extremely jealous of Princess Delia and often tries to kill her in order to make her own son the heir to the kingdom. Princess Delia's power and intelligence are insufficient, so she has been losing ground in the struggle against the queen. Afraid of being killed by her stepmother, Princess Delia can only seek help from outside. In an unexpected event, she came into contact with an organization called the Dark Magic Cult. The Dark Magic Cult is a mortal enemy of the Queen's family, the Stuart Empire. Therefore, the princess naturally joined the Dark Magic Cult. With the resources of the Horadric Kingdom, the princess rose to a high position within the Dark Magic Cult. Then, with the help of the Archbishop of the Dark Magic Cult, she staged a play called Demon Dragon Kidnaps Princess. Princess Delia's original plan was to create chaos during the battle between the two sides, allowing the members of the dark magic cult to act and eliminate all the queen's forces. Then, at the most intense moment of the battle, she would appear in a high-profile manner, single-handedly convert the demon dragon, and take the opportunity to drive her deadbeat father off the throne and become the queen herself. The 7 cities on the demon dragon's side are actually under the control of Princess Delia. The people who have been enchanted in the 7 cities are also her people. So, in reality, the demon dragon faction should be called the princess faction. The Horadric Kingdom faction should be called the Kingdom plus Queen faction. The Dark Magic Cult, the Stuart Empire. These are probably the 2 factions that will enter the late stage. Chen Yu instantly clarified the relationship between the 4 forces and the possible dynamic development of the instance. Cuz the Stuart Empire intends to annex the Horadric Kingdom through the Queen, and the Queen suppresses the princess and even plans to kill her in order to make her own son the king. Process. The princess is defeated and joins the Dark Magic Cult. The Dark Magic Cult uses the princess to oppose the Stuart Empire and attempts to disrupt their annexation plan. Climax. The Demon Dragon and the Horadric Kingdom engage in a fierce battle, the princess and the queen fight fiercely, the Dark Magic Cult and the Stuart Empire enter the scene, and the 4 forces engage in a large-scale battle. Outcome. It's hard to say whether the 4 forces will benefit, but the examinees will definitely earn a lot of points. Currently, the 2 sides in conflict are essentially the princess and the queen. The diary does not mention the old king, so Chen Yu is not very clear about the old king's position. Ordinary players who receive this clue may try to complete quests related to the princess, the queen, or even the old king in order to uncover additional plotlines and earn college entrance exam points. However, Chen Yu's thinking is destined to be different from that of ordinary players. In his opinion, digging into the plot and such has too low of an efficiency in terms of points, so it's more enjoyable to just fight monsters. After putting away the diary, Chen Yu looked at the 2 crests that dropped from the boss. Exquisite Power Crest. Quality. Epic. Effect. Strength plus 500. Additional skill. Mighty Power. When activated, strength attribute is increased by an additional 500 for 1 minute, with a cooldown of 10 minutes. Exquisite Constitution Crest. Quality. Epic. Effect. Constitution plus 500. Additional skill. Rock Solid. When activated, Constitution attribute is increased by an additional 500 for 1 minute, with a cooldown of 10 minutes. Chen Yu took out the Book of Crests and replaced the newly obtained crest, causing their attributes to skyrocket once again. After the plant lives finished feeding, Chen Yu led them in a grand procession to the foot of the city walls of Origin Gate City. The troops inside the city watched helplessly as the defenders and the most elite soldiers were slaughtered, daring not to leave the city to fight. Looking at the closed city gates, Chen Yu turned their gaze to several primal elves and asked, "Which one of you will go?" Hu Tu immediately drew her sword and said, "I am willing to slay all enemies for my lord." Her sword was slightly longer than a toothpick and looked like a toy. In reality, the sword and armor were manifestations of her toys, designed to make her look like a loyal and dutiful general. The equipment that changed with the transformation of the World Tree's fruit shell had no difference in appearance, whether it was a dress or armor and sword. Strictly speaking, this was also a part of the primal elves. "Alright, go." Chen Yu nodded at Hu Tu. "Use your atomic solidification to leave some fertilizer for my plants." "Yes, master." Hu Tu flew into the air and pointed her sword at Origin Gate City, beginning to recite an incantation. Because the range of Origin Gate City was not large, it took less than half a minute for the forbidden spell to be prepared. An invisible ripple spread from the golden tip of the sword. Wherever the ripple passed, all life fell into stillness, as if time had frozen. There was no raining fire from the sky, no earth-shattering movements. This forbidden spell was terrifyingly quiet. The process was incredibly quiet, and the result was even quieter. A gentle breeze blew, and the flags on the city walls still fluttered in the wind. However, the soldiers defending the city were frozen as if someone had pressed the pause button. Several soldiers sat beneath the battlements of the city wall, seemingly engaged in conversation. One soldier's expression of fear and astonishment froze on his face, his lips maintaining the shape of speaking, as if there had been sound coming from his mouth just a moment ago. A soldier who was walking had already lifted his foot, but due to being unable to move, he fell forward, his head hitting the stone slab of the city wall with a dull thud. The birds in the sky stopped flapping their wings and fell straight to the ground, shattering into pieces. This scene was eerily quiet. However, for the plant lives, it was undoubtedly a feast. The entire city's living beings were still theirs to enjoy. Chen Yu turned around and ordered the plant lives, "Go. It's up to you now." The plant lives immediately rushed forward with excitement. The city walls, they were like illusions to the plant lives. Some of them used their roots to penetrate the gaps between the bricks and slowly climbed upwards. Some leapt up and directly jumped onto the city walls, feasting to their heart's content. In the next moment, numerous score notifications rang in Chen Yu's mind. Ranking competition of the college entrance examination, copy of the third day. The sixth main city of the Demon Dragon faction. Atomic solidification. An invisible wave spread out, freezing the entire city. Then, the plant lives rushed forward, enjoying their buffet time. The original Earth Spirit flew back crookedly and was caught by Chen Yu with both hands, then sent back to the unsurpassable sacred ground for cultivation. At this stage, the control ability of atomic solidification is more practical than any other small spirit's forbidden spell. Because it is silent and can completely immobilize the enemy, providing nutrients for other plant lives. However, due to the low level of the original spirit, its ability to sustain combat is weak. Ordinary taboo mages need to consume a large amount of professional attribute magic power to cast forbidden spells. The original spirit is the element itself and does not need magic power as a medium, but it also consumes a large amount of mental and physical strength. Even with a 99% reduction in consumption passive, it can only be used continuously for a maximum of 2 forbidden spells. In 3 days, with the help of the control forbidden spell of the earth, Chen Yu conquered 6 cities within the Demon Dragon faction. Not only the main cities, but also the surrounding monster areas were completely cleared. Due to obtaining a large amount of high-quality nutrients, more than half of the 5,000 plant lives have been promoted to legends. The difficulty of the 6 main cities of the Demon Dragon faction and the surrounding monster areas is not evenly distributed, but becomes more difficult as you go further. Conquering the first main city and clearing all the monsters in the main city is only worth less than 20,000 college entrance examination points. But after clearing the 6th main city, Chen Yu's college entrance examination points have increased to 600,000. Even the Book of Crests has upgraded to 42 pages. Chen Yu believes that he should set a small goal to try to flip the Book of Crests to 50 pages in the ranking competition copy. After 20 pages of the Book of Crests, each page requires 10,000 experience points. After 30 pages, it is 100,000, and after 40 pages, it is 1 million. In total, there are just over 10 million for 50 pages. With some effort, it should be achievable. In the 6th main city of the Demon Dragon, the Guardian is a level 130 bronze boss, with 5 level 110 bronze bosses and 20 level 110 normal bosses under its command. Bosses of this level are not meant to be fought by examinees at all. It is estimated that in the late stage of the copy, they will become NPCs in the plot. Under the boss, there are tens of thousands of elite monsters above level 101, as well as tens of thousands of small monsters above level 101. There is not a single monster in the entire 6th main city of the Demon Dragon with a level lower than 101. In terms of professional ranks, they are all 2nd tier or higher. If they were to confront Chen Yu's Plant Life Legion head-on, Chen Yu's plant lives would not be opponents. However, under the forbidden spell, everything becomes very simple. All monsters can only wait motionlessly for death to come. When the plant lives bring back the spoils of war, Chen Yu selects the crests dropped by the boss. Legendary Power Crest. Quality: Legendary. Effect: Strength plus 3000. With the additional skill of Legendary Power, during the activation of this skill, Strength attribute is increased by an additional 50% for 1 minute, with a cooldown of 10 minutes. Legendary Skill Crest. Kanglang 100 consecutive slashes. Quality: Legendary. Effect: Obtain the epic skill, Kanglang 100 consecutive slashes. Kanglang 100 consecutive slashes. Continuously strike the target 100 times within 5 seconds, with each strike increasing damage by 5%. Cannot change targets during the combo, and the skill ends if the combo is interrupted. Cooldown. 300 seconds. Legendary skill crest. Sea of Fire. Quality. Legendary. Effect. Obtain the legendary skill, Sea of Fire. Sea of Fire. Release a sea of fire within a certain range, continuously dealing high fire elemental damage to units within the Sea of Fire. The attribute emblem of legendary level has already reached a bonus of 3000. The skill emblem is available for all professions. However, the skill quality in the skill emblem is one grade lower than the emblem itself. But unlike the outside world, in the high school entrance exam ranking dungeon, specific professions are not required for emblem skills. In other words, if desired, a mage can also wield a greatsword and use wave of 100 consecutive slashes. A warrior can also casually release Sea of Fire. After clearing and replacing the Book of Crests, Chen Yu's 4 attribute bonuses have reached over 10,000 points. The number of epic level skills has also reached 5. It's about time. Seeing that it was getting late, Chen Yu decided to first return to the Adventurers Guild in Solid Rock City to check the progress of the missing person quest. Solid Rock City Adventurers Guild. Chen Yu handed his adventurer badge to the guild clerk and said, "Please check the progress of my quest." "Respected adventurer, please wait a moment." The clerk took the badge. After a moment, the clerk returned the badge to Chen Yu and asked, "Sir, are you inquiring about the ordinary missing person quest you posted 3 days ago?" "Yes. Among the people you were looking for, 2 of them were found this morning. After hearing that it was a missing person quest posted by you, they came directly to our Solid Rock City Adventurers Guild and have been waiting for your message," the clerk said. "Where are they now?" Chen Yu asked. "They are currently in the accommodation rooms provided by our Adventurers Guild." The clerk wrote a number on a piece of paper and handed it to Chen Yu. "This is the room number they rented." Chen Yu took the piece of paper. There were 2 lines of text written on it. Ling Fadao, Building 3025. Lin Aluo, Building 3026. They are the descendants of 2 forbidden powerhouses. "What about the other 2? Any news?" Chen Yu continued to ask. "Not yet." The clerk shook his head. "If there is any news, it will be relayed to us as soon as possible." "All right, please continue to keep an eye out for me." Chen Yu left the counter and found a service staff member while holding the piece of paper. Guided by the staff member, he quickly found the room rented by Ling Fadao and Lin Aluo on the upper floor of the Adventurers Guild Hall. Bang bang bang. Chen Yu knocked on the door of room 3026. Soon, the door opened a crack. "Wow, it's you, the great god. Come in, come in." Lin Aluo excitedly pulled Chen Yu into the room. After entering the room, Chen Yu could see clearly that Lin Aluo was completely wrapped in wolf fur, with a wolf head even on her head. "What kind of outfit is this?" Chen Yu laughed. "Oh, this is a new equipment I got in the dungeon," Lin Aluo said with a smile. "Actually, it looks pretty good, right?" "Yes, it's nice." Chen Yu respected Lin Aluo's artistic expression, but he couldn't agree with her taste. The wolf fur was complete, and if she crouched down and lowered her head, others would probably think she was a small monster. "What have you gained in these 3 days?" Chen Yu asked. "Gains?" Lin Aluo smirked. "Just so. In these 3 days, I only earned a little over 500 points in total, which is not even as good as the basic score of the previous round, and it's still far behind." The entire examination room, there is only Chen Yu who is such a ruthless person. Other candidates, including the top candidates from other provinces, have to honestly fight monsters and complete tasks in the Horadric Kingdom area. In the early stages of the instance, the college entrance examination points are secondary, and the main focus is on leveling up the Book of Crests and collecting high attribute crests. After improving their strength, they can then profit greatly from the upcoming battle between the demon dragon and the kingdom. But now, Chen Yu has almost wiped out the demon dragon side, so it seems that the war cannot be fought. "By the way, Master, many candidates are forming alliances now," Lin Aluo said. "Currently, there are 3 top alliances that surpass the others. They are the World Alliance led by the candidates from the capital, the 6 Cities Alliance led by the candidates from the Magic City, and the Golden Age Alliance led by the candidates from Jade Capital Grand Capital. Among them, the World Alliance is the strongest. And, the World Alliance seems to specifically target the candidates from Cloud River Province. The leader of the World Alliance, Yuan Shao, even said that she wants to challenge you alone and test your abilities as the top candidate in the first round. At this point, Lin Aluo showed a look of indignation. She also said that if you don't agree, it means you're afraid of her and that your score of 18,500 in the first round must have been obtained through cheating. Now, this kind of statement is widely spread among the candidates. Haha, a one-on-one challenge. Obtained through cheating. Chen Yu couldn't help but laugh. This kind of crude provocation might work on other proud and talented geniuses, but Chen Yu remained calm. Because in terms of both strength and mentality, Chen Yu is clearly on a completely different level than them. Ants may be arrogant in front of humans, but humans generally cannot see them. Even if they are seen, they are just a source of amusement, and humans won't get angry because of an ant. Master, don't fall for it. Lin Aluo wrinkled her nose and said, they must know that they can't match you in terms of ability. If you're there, they won't have a chance at the top spot. So they want to deceive you and then surround you. Don't worry, I won't. Chen Yu smiled. He is currently focused on earning points, so he doesn't have time to pay attention to things like forming alliances. As for the so-called World Alliance, whether they really want to deceive him and then surround him, Chen Yu doesn't care at all. An ant wants to challenge a human. Regardless of whether it genuinely wants to challenge or if it has an ambush of ants behind it, humans generally won't care. If he encounters them on the road, he will easily eliminate them. If he doesn't encounter them, there's no need to deliberately seek them out. Boss, have you ever thought about forming an alliance? Lin Aluo asked eagerly. With your reputation, as long as you call for it, there will definitely be many experts willing to follow you. I haven't thought about it. Chen Yu shook his head. The purpose of forming an alliance is to leverage collective strength to create greater benefits. However, the strength of the candidates is basically of no help to Chen Yu, so there is no need for him to form an alliance. By the way, take these. Chen Yu waved his hand, and a large pile of crests appeared in front of Lin Aluo, almost overwhelming her. Most of them are ordinary crests, but there are also a few rare and epic crests. During this period of time, he threw away all the high-quality crests he obtained in the instance, except for functional crests and a few sets for Li Wei and Su Miaoyu. These things are exclusive to the instance and cannot be exchanged for points or taken out of the instance, so they are useless to him. It's better to give them to Lin Aluo and Ling Fadao to improve their strength, which can be considered as fulfilling the trust of the two forbidden powerhouses. Originally, he wanted to assign 2 plant lives to take care of them. But the improvement from the crests is obviously more substantial than the care of plant lives. These are for me. Lin Aluo was dumbfounded, and her pleasant voice became a bit sharp. Well, they're all for you. Good luck, and also take care of Ling Fadao. That child seems a bit shy. Alright, that's it. I'm leaving now. After saying that, Chen Yu waved to Lin Aluo and left the room. After a while, Lin Aluo finally recovered from the shock. This pile of insignias, there are dozens of epic level ones. And there are even hundreds or thousands of rare level ones. Having spent 3 days in the instance, she naturally knew the purpose of the insignias and the rarity of high-quality ones. Rare level insignias are usually dropped by bosses above level 40. As for epic level insignias, they can only be obtained with a very small chance from bosses above level 60. Most of the existing epic level insignias are rewards for completing difficult chain quests. She was certain that even the strongest leader of the World Alliance, Yuan Shao, couldn't possibly have a complete set of epic level insignias. And now, Chen Yu had thrown out a pile of epic level and rare level insignias like trash. It was obviously impossible to obtain these rewards from doing tedious tasks in 3 days, so they must have been dropped by monsters. This shows just how powerful Chen Yu is. Amazing. The god is truly a god, we are simply not on the same level as him. In the live broadcast room of the college entrance examination ranking competition. In the live camera, over 100 examinees were braving the wind and snow, advancing through the canyon. The host, Orc Doesn't Wash Hands, was enthusiastically commentating. For those watching at home, you can see that the talented players who make up the Golden Age Alliance have now reached the edge of the Horadric Kingdom map. They are the first group to make contact with the Queen and complete the related hidden tasks, discovering the presence of a third-party force on the map. However, this route to the third-party force is not easy. From the previous God's Eye view, we already know that the boss guarding the end of the canyon is the level 80 normal boss, Frost Giant, and it is extremely powerful. So, can the players of the Golden Age Alliance successfully make contact with the third-party force and complete the faction switch? Let's wait and see. Not long after, the camera showed the 100-person team reaching the end of the canyon and starting to battle a humanoid monster over 10 meters tall, covered in ice crystals. The team cooperated seamlessly, using weakening skills from support professions at the start. Tank professions immediately took over, controlling the boss and intercepting its attacks. Ranged DPS professions had no pressure in the backline. After about 10 minutes, the boss let out a cry, its entire body of ice crystals shattered, and it fell to the ground dead. What a beautiful coordination. Orc Doesn't Wash Hands praised with an excited voice. A textbook-like boss battle. They have maximized the characteristics of each profession and almost flawlessly defeated this boss that is far above their own level. Now that the final level has been cleared, let's follow the perspective of the players and witness the charm of the third-party force. The camera followed the examinees of the Golden Age Alliance as they slowly moved forward. They walked out of the valley and entered a frozen plain. Finally, at the end of the plain, a magnificent giant city appeared on the screen. In terms of area, this city was almost equivalent to 4 Horadric Kingdom capital cities. If compared to the main city, it would be 8 or even more. The city walls were 20 meters high, and the soldiers on the walls were well equipped and solemn. There was an arrow tower every 30 meters. There was a towering cannon tower with crystal cannons every 10 to 20 meters. In the live broadcast room, Orc Doesn't Wash Hands and Little Dumpling spoke at the same time. Congratulations to our examinees for discovering the hidden map force, the Stuart Empire. The Golden Age Alliance, consisting of 100 people, successfully entered the snowy metropolis of the Stuart Empire by using the tokens obtained from Queen Herodic's hidden mission. Their purpose for this journey was to meet the ruler of the metropolis, Count Kopazak, who was affiliated with the Tichaward Empire, and complete their own faction conversion. Along the way, the candidates couldn't help but observe their surroundings frequently and cast detection spells. Level 160. Level 160. Oh my, the elite monsters over there are actually level 170. One candidate exclaimed, even their equipment is not on the same level as the Horadric Kingdom's army. And those city defense cannons, I bet even level 200 monsters couldn't withstand a single hit. What's so strange about that? Just outside the city in the military camp, I even saw a level 180 bronze boss. Another candidate sneered, look at you, a country bumpkin who hasn't seen the world. Clearly, this is a high-level exam instance. How could there be monsters of such levels inside? Another candidate frowned. If the Horadric Kingdom has such allies, then the demon dragon side probably does too. With our levels, even if we open the Book of Crests to page 20 and insert all the rare crests, it would probably be difficult to deal with them, right? Who told you these monsters were prepared for the candidates? In my opinion, they're probably just some plot NPCs. That's right, don't worry too much. Our task is to earn points for the high-level exam, so we just need to kill the monsters within our capabilities. The leader of the Golden Age Alliance also spoke up. I believe that the greatest significance of joining a third-party faction lies in the greatly increased rewards for various tasks. The tasks on the Horadric Kingdom side, even the ones for obtaining rare crests, are very rare, and epic level ones are even rarer. The situation on the Stuart Empire side is obviously much better. And, a powerful force can provide us with a stable rear area. If the front lines become chaotic, we can go there without any worries to earn points. Alright, let's not waste any more time. Let's complete the faction tasks first. Everyone, let's go. After meeting Count Zachary and converting their faction, the Golden Age Alliance indeed discovered a large number of high-level faction tasks. The tasks in the Stuart Empire were similar to those in the Horadric Kingdom, involving clearing monsters or killing bosses. Even the task locations were on the Horadric Kingdom's map. However, the rewards were far more generous than those in the Horadric Kingdom. Overjoyed, the candidates of the Golden Age Alliance immediately accepted a large number of tasks and then left the snowy metropolis to return to the kingdom's map to kill monsters and complete tasks. In the early morning, at the Solid Rock City Adventurers Guild. In the most luxurious room on the top floor, Chenyu woke up from the soft bedding. Due to killing a large number of monsters, he had too many blank crests in his hands. These things would become invalid once they left the instance, so he could only squander them to the maximum extent within the instance. After enjoying a luxurious breakfast with the little elves, Chen Yu opened the Book of Crests to activate the teleportation crests. After the countdown finished, a white light flashed, and Chen Yu appeared on the ruins of the 6th main city of the Demon Dragon. "Speak, who are you?" As soon as Chen Yu stood still, he heard an angry shout from nearby. A general riding a tall and large horse, wearing armor, was pointing a huge sword at him not far away. Demon Dragon City's first army commander, level 150 boss. Chen Yu looked around and found himself surrounded by thousands of soldiers. The streets and alleys of the 6th main city of the Demon Dragon were filled with heavily armored cavalry. Yesterday, he had already cleared out the entire 6th main city. These troops were probably sent from the Demon Dragon's last main city, Demon Dragon City, after they discovered that the 6 main cities had lost contact. Most likely, they came to investigate the situation. Chen Yu didn't hesitate and directly summoned all the plant life. The heavy cavalry are all level 150 small monsters, with an average main attribute value of around 700 points. The level 150 normal bosses have a main attribute value of around 7,000 points. 4 abyss thorn spirits besieged the boss, while the rest of the plant life rushed into the group of small monsters and killed them indiscriminately. Before long, this army was completely wiped out. After tidying up the spoils, Chen Yu immediately rushed to Demon Dragon City without stopping. Since Demon Dragon City has already discovered that other main cities have lost contact, they will definitely send people out to investigate continuously. For every group of people sent out, Chen Yu will lose a portion of his college entrance exam points. Therefore, time must be seized. Under extreme speed, Chen Yu only took less than 2 hours to reach Demon Dragon City, which was already in sight. In terms of size and appearance, Demon Dragon City is not much different from the other 6 main cities. However, the quality of the monsters is far superior to the other 6 main cities. In the military camp outside Demon Dragon City, there are only level 150 monsters, including many elite monsters, and even bosses appear in groups. Beside the towering city walls stands a large black creature. Its body is like an enlarged lizard, with a pair of forward-facing horns on its head. It looks like a giant dragon from Western legends, but seems to be missing something. At the foot of the demon dragon stands a human woman. She is wearing a white dress similar to a wedding gown, with a golden crown on her head. Chen Yu used the detection spell on the dragon and the woman. Demon Dragon, level 150 bronze boss. Explanation: a demonized non-abyssal sub-dragon, the ultimate boss of the Demon Dragon faction. Princess Deia, level 100 boss. Explanation: the heir of the Horadric Kingdom, kidnapped by the Demon Dragon. Wow, if I hadn't gotten the hidden clue, I would have believed it. Chen Yu couldn't help but mutter. These two explanations are clearly meant to mislead the examinees. The ultimate boss of the Demon Dragon faction should clearly be Princess Deia. Although her strength is very weak, there is no doubt that she is the true controller of the Demon Dragon faction. The so-called Demon Dragon is just a lackey. How to? It's up to you. Chen Yu released 6 original elves from the holy soil space, and then said to How to. The strength of Demon Dragon City is dozens of times stronger than his plant life legion. The level 150 elite monsters are already stronger than the level 50 epic ones. The level 150 bosses are even stronger than individual demonized thorn spirits. If they rely on the plant life legion to charge head-on, it is likely that all the plant life will die and not cause much damage to the other side. However, it is customary to use mythical level forbidden spells when epic and legendary levels cannot defeat the enemy. Don't worry, my lord. The sword in my hand will definitely clear the obstacles for you. How to flew up skillfully and began to chant the spell. After half a minute, the incantation of the earth god was completed. A ripple as fast as lightning swept across the entire Demon Dragon City. In the face of the forbidden spell, there was no difference between level 150 and level 15. The high-spirited and well-equipped army instantly froze. They were like vivid and exquisite terracotta warriors, crafted with great skill. With this momentum, even Emperor Qin Shi Huang would be envious. My lord, I have not failed you. The earth god flew back, holding a sword, and knelt down on one knee before Chen Yu. You did well. Chen Yu took out a large string of candied haws, took one off the top, and stuffed it into the earth god's arms. The earth god held the candied haw, which was several times larger than her head, with a bewildered expression. However, she smelled the sweet fragrance emanating from the candied haw, so she lowered her head and took a gentle bite. After tasting the sour and sweet flavor, her eyes began to shine. It's delicious. Xiao Feng and Xiao Yan immediately flew in front of Chen Yu, looking at her with watery eyes, pitifully. Chen Yu took off the candied haws one by one. There were exactly 6 candied haws, and each little spirit received one. After Xiao Yan received the candied haw, she immediately moved to the other side of Chen Yu, away from Xiao Feng. After being robbed multiple times, she understood a truth. When she had no food in her hands, Xiao Feng was the easiest to bully. When she had food in her hands, Xiao Feng immediately became the most terrifying existence. After distributing the candied haws, Chen Yu summoned her plant life legion. Legions, it's time to eat. Upon hearing Chen Yu's command, the plant life legion rushed towards the demon dragon city. At this time, the gap between legendary level and epic level was fully reflected. 3,000 legendary level plant lives instantly left behind 2,000 epic level ones. Seeing this, Chen Yu quickly gave another command: the legendary ones should be more modest and let the epic ones eat first. Her plant life underlings cooperated well in battle, but they would never consider sisterly love when it came to food. If she didn't give the order, the legendary level ones would definitely eat more than the epic level ones. Moreover, most of the remaining 2,000 epic level ones were lily nymphs with relatively weak melee strength. The intelligence of lily nymphs was slightly higher than that of thorn and man-eating flower types, but their melee strength was several levels lower. The most direct manifestation was that they could only watch when fighting monsters. Fortunately, the plant lives were very obedient. The plant lives that had evolved to legendary level voluntarily gave way to the epic level ones when they saw them. While the plant lives were eating, Chen Yu approached Princess Deia. She was a very beautiful woman. She had soft and delicate golden hair, as well as emerald-like eyes. Although her mouth was slightly large, it became a bonus when set against her delicate and vibrant lips. Chen Yu picked her up and moved her away from the demon dragon, so as not to be accidentally killed by the plant lives in a frenzy. She was a key character in the plot. As long as she didn't die, the demon dragon faction would still exist and people could join. Boom, boom, boom. Just then, Chen Yu heard the sound of clashing gold and iron in her ears. Turning around, she saw dozens of thorn spirits attacking a demon dragon the size of a small villa. Among them, there was even the abyss thorn spirit that Chen Yu had just transformed yesterday. Vines whipped against the black scales on the demon dragon's body, splashing countless sparks. However, the demon dragon's health did not decrease at all. As a level 150 bronze boss and a dragon-type creature with high growth potential, the main attribute of demon dragon is estimated to be above 17,000. In addition, dragon scales themselves have extremely high defense. Among plant creatures, the highest attribute is the abyss thorn spirit with only 6,000 points, which cannot break through the defense at all. Seeing this, Chen Yu had no choice but to personally teach the abyss thorn spirit to find weak points to attack. The sensory organs such as the eyes, ears, mouth, and nose are not protected by scales and have very low defense. The abyss thorn spirit immediately realized this and immediately attacked the weak points of the demon dragon with its countless poisonous thorns. Other plant creatures saw this and followed suit. The health bar of the demon dragon immediately began to decrease rapidly. After a few minutes, the demon dragon's health points were completely depleted, and a pile of various insignias burst out. At the same time, a prompt from the heavens sounded. Killed level 150 bronze boss demon dragon, plus 4500 points for the college entrance examination. Prompt: since you single-handedly killed the ultimate boss of the demon dragon camp, you will receive an additional 50,000 points for the college entrance examination. Prompt: since you single-handedly killed the demon dragon and obtained the key plot character, Princess Deia, you can make the following plot route choices. Choice 1. The fate encounter of the princess and the hero. Return Princess Deia to the Horadric Kingdom. After choosing, you will receive 10,000 points for the college entrance examination. Admiration, reputation in the Horadric Kingdom, respect, reputation in the Stuart Empire, and hatred, reputation in the Dark Demon Cult. Note: choosing this option requires safely delivering Princess Delia to the palace of the Horadric Kingdom. Otherwise, it will be considered a failure and you will not receive the reward. Choice 2. The Dragon Slayer becomes the evil dragon. Inherit the unfinished business of the evil dragon, continue to possess Princess Delia, replace the evil dragon as the ultimate boss of the Demon Dragon Camp, and control the entire Demon Dragon Camp. After choosing, you will be simultaneously hated by the other 3 forces on the map. Note: choosing this option requires ensuring the continuous possession of Princess Delia. If Princess Delia is lost or dies, you will lose the identity of the camp's ultimate boss. Wonderful. Chen Yu clapped his hands and sighed. Just now, he was still thinking about how to threaten Princess Delia, force her to open her mouth, and make her agree to join the Demon Dragon camp. Unexpectedly, with the death of the Demon Dragon, this problem was naturally solved. I choose, the Dragon Slayer becomes the evil dragon. Prompt: you choose to possess Princess Delia, and your identity automatically upgrades to the camp's ultimate boss. Prompt: due to your choice, you will be simultaneously antagonized by the 3 forces on the map and will participate in the ultimate mission of the instance as a boss. You can abandon this identity at any time by killing, dropping, returning, releasing Princess Delia. After about 2 hours, the plant creatures ate and drank their fill, and brought back the spoils. Chen Yu released the control over Princess Delia that the earth had on her. The forbidden curse was lifted, and Princess Delia woke up. She looked around in astonishment. In her memory, the last moment she was still discussing the loss of communication with the 6 main cities with her generals. In an instant, her generals disappeared, the army disappeared, and even the demon dragon behind her disappeared. The only thing left was the man in front of her whom she didn't recognize, and the countless beautiful girls beside him. Who are you? Princess Delia asked in confusion. Where am I? Did you bring me out of Demon Dragon City? Yes, I brought you out of Demon Dragon City, Chen Yu said firmly. Young and beautiful princess, being occupied by a dirty and ugly demon dragon, I absolutely cannot tolerate such a thing. So, I responded to the king's call and came to find you, your highness. Fortunately, I succeeded. Princess Delia's mouth twitched slightly, then she showed a look of both joy and worry. Thank you, my great warrior, but the demon dragon is too powerful. You should quickly send me back to Demon Dragon City, otherwise I will only bring trouble to you. In Princess Delia's view, Chen Yu must have used some kind of spatial transfer spell to secretly bring her out. Don't worry, my princess, Chen Yu smiled warmly, the demon dragon is already dead in my hands. Look. Under Chen Yu's instruction, the plant creatures made way. Princess Delia looked up and saw only a demon dragon with only its skin and skeleton left. Due to the wide field of vision, she also saw Demon Dragon City not far away, as well as scattered and incomplete equipment on the ground. Respected warrior, is it you who killed the demon dragon and its minions? Princess Delia's heart was filled with overwhelming shock and fear. No one knew the power of the demon dragon faction better than her. The person in front of her had actually directly wiped out the entire demon dragon faction, even without her noticing. This method was simply horrifying. Yes, I killed the demon dragon and its minions, Chen Yu replied. Thank you, respected hero. Princess Delia wanted to cry but had no tears. Can you now send me back to the Heretic Empire? My father will definitely give you a satisfactory reward. Even though she herself was a level 100 boss, Princess Delia felt no sense of security at this moment. She just wanted to return to the kingdom quickly and leave this terrifying man in front of her. I'm sorry, but I can't. Chen Yu's mouth gradually widened on both sides. Dear princess, I officially announce to you, you have been conquered by me. From now on, I am the true evil dragon. Chen Yu's declaration as the evil dragon left Princess Delia stunned. After a moment, she cautiously asked, Sir Hero, you're joking with me, right? No, your highness. I'm serious. Chen Yu excitedly said to several thorny spirits, you, tie her up. Keep a close eye on her, don't let her escape. Oh, and be careful not to hurt her too much. The thorny spirits immediately extended their vines and bound Princess Delia into a bundle. Fortunately, they had already retracted the thorns on the vines. Otherwise, the delicate little princess would have had hundreds or even thousands of bloody holes on her body. Princess Delia almost cried out. Heaven has no mercy. She was only being persecuted by her stepmother and going through teenage rebellion. She conspired with outsiders to find an excuse to run away from home, wanting to kill her stepmother and inherit her father's estate. How did it lead to such a perverted situation? By the way, isn't the ending of the legendary story of the evil dragon kidnapping the princess that the hero rescues the princess and they live happily ever after in the kingdom? Why did the story change when it came to her? The evil dragon was indeed defeated by the hero, even crushed to dust. But that evil dragon wasn't a real dragon, it was a gold-ranked hired thug she had paid a high price for. Moreover, this hero who defeated the evil dragon is too outrageous, isn't he? Where does a hero just rescue the princess and then forcefully claim her as his own? Could it be because I'm too beautiful, making this powerful hero unable to wait? Thinking about it, Princess Delia couldn't find any reason why a hero would risk ruining his reputation and opposing the kingdom just to possess her. Yes, it must be like this. Heroes like him are lawless. When they see something they like, they're used to using their strength to snatch it. So, for the first time in her life, Princess Delia began to hate her once proud beauty. Take her away. Chen Yu called out to the plant creatures and hung Delia up, then led his army of plant creatures into Demon Dragon City. In the center of Demon Dragon City, there was a luxurious palace, which should be where Princess Delia usually resided. Without hesitation, Chen Yu claimed the palace as his own, then locked Delia in a small room and assigned 100 legendary-level plant creatures to guard her closely. Afterwards, he occupied the most comfortable and luxurious room in the palace and began to study the special abilities of being a camp boss. After becoming a camp boss, a virtual camp panel appeared in front of him. Camp name: Evil Dragon Camp. Camp composition: Ultimate Boss, Chen Yu. Level 50 Special Silver Boss, 6. Level 50 Special Bronze Boss, 4. Level 50 Bronze Boss, 2958. Level 50 Normal Boss, 2042. Elite and Minor Monsters, several. The bosses shown in the camp composition should be the plant creatures under his command. Epic level plant creatures were defined as bosses, while legendary level was the bronze boss. The thorny spirits that had been abyssified were the special bronze bosses. And the 6 primordial elves were the special silver bosses. From a growth perspective, this division was correct. Chen Yu was not sure about other planters. But his own epic level and legendary level plant creatures did indeed correspond to the attributes of normal bosses and bronze bosses of the same level. The so-called special should refer to the unit's possession of special characteristics, with abilities far surpassing other units of the same quality and level. For example, the Abyss Thorny Spirits were also legendary level, but their basic attributes were twice that of units of the same level and quality. The original Primordial Spirits are at the mythical level, but they are born with the ability to cast forbidden curses, making them extremely formidable in battle. Chen Yu attempted to send an Abyss Thorn Spirit back to the unsurpassable sacred ground. Sure enough, the number of level 50 special bronze bosses decreased from 4 to 3. After he took it out, the number changed back to 4. Chen Yu suddenly had an idea. Should he summon the World Tree and see what level of boss she is? However, this is just something he can think about. If he really dares to summon the World Tree in the instance would probably break down. In addition to him, all the examinees in the instance would have to sacrifice themselves. In addition to the bosses, he also has many small monsters under his command. These small monsters and elite monsters are not plant life that he cultivated, but monsters from the Demon Dragon Foss's monster spawning area on the instance map. Originally, there were bosses in these areas, but he cleared them all out. The small monsters and elite monsters continue to respawn, but the bosses have not respawned. In addition to his subordinates, there are 2 options on the camp panel that he can view. One is the forces, and the other is the missions. The forces option is a map that marks the range of forces he currently controls. In reality, it is the 7 main cities and the high-level monster spawning areas around the main cities. His own range of influence is marked in green. In addition to this, the entire map is red. One area is lighter in color and also the largest, which is the Horadric Kingdom. The other two areas of influence are very small, each governed by only one main city. However, their color is a deep red, indicating that they are very dangerous. One of the deep red areas is far from Chen Yu's controlled area in the Horadric Kingdom. The other one is adjacent to Chen Yu's controlled area, just behind a mountain range around Demon Dragon City. The missions option represents Chen Yu's ability to issue missions to the examinees himself. However, the emblems and college entrance exam points for mission rewards need to be provided by him. This function has no effect on Chen Yu. He doesn't need to recruit examinees to complete missions. Even if he needs to, as long as he reveals his identity and calls out, there will be people who will follow him, without the need for additional college entrance exam points. In addition to issuing missions, there are also several permanent missions that he can do himself. These are the main focus of his attention. The content of these missions is straightforward, and the rewards are also substantial. One is to expand the range of influence. For each additional main city occupied, there is a reward of 50,000 college entrance exam points. The second is to annihilate the forces of other maps. Destroying the Horadric Kingdom rewards 200,000 college entrance exam points. Destroying the other two forces rewards 500,000 points. The area adjacent to my range of influence should be the Dark Demon Sect, right? Chen Yu pondered. The Dark Demon Sect used to be an ally or supporter of the Demon Dragon forces. Even the Demon Dragon was borrowed from the Dark Demon Sect by Deia. But now, Chen Yu has destroyed the Demon Dragon, seized the princess, and he and the Dark Demon Sect are mortal enemies. He decided to first annihilate the Dark Demon Sect. How can others sleep soundly while lying beside his couch? Deia knows the actual situation of the Dark Demon Sect better. I can call her over and ask. Chen Yu sat upright on the bed in the palace and shouted to the several abyss thorn spirits standing beside him. Someone, bring the princess to me. In the palace of Demon Dragon City, there was a small room designated for the servants to live in. Deia sat on the ground, looking utterly despondent. She didn't even have the slightest desire to escape. Because outside this room, there were densely packed legendary level creatures, numbering in the hundreds. In her entire life, she had never seen as many legendary level beings as there were here. As an epic level creature, she felt quite honored to be surrounded by so many legendary creatures. Bang! A loud noise rang out. The door was forcefully kicked open. An expressionless succubus walked in. A legendary level succubus. Is she also one of his subordinates? Deia wondered. I heard that some bored powerhouses like to capture succubus-like monsters from the abyss for their own enjoyment. But if he already has creatures like succubi under his command, why does he need to keep me captive? Could it be that my charm has surpassed that of the succubi from the abyss? Ah, my cursed beauty. Deia, who had already resigned herself to her fate, unexpectedly felt a hint of joy after encountering the abyss thorn spirit. After all, for a human woman to surpass the succubi in beauty would be an unsurpassable honor. Come, follow me, said the abyss thorn spirit in a harsh tone. The abyssified thorn spirit had gained the ability to speak, but it still lacked some emotions. Okay, Deia stood up, straightened her messy and slightly torn white dress, and walked over to the abyss thorn spirit. She held her head high, showing off her slender and fair swan-like neck, trying her best to appear confident and composed. However, the abyss thorn spirit had no intention of appreciating her gracefulness. It extended a vine-like tendril and tightly bound Deia into a bundle. So you're not a succubus. You're just an abyss plant life that looks like a succubus. Deia felt a sudden disappointment. She struggled a bit and found that the strength of the tendril was astonishing, and there was no hope of breaking free. So she shouted, "Hey, can you not treat me like this? Can you put me down? I can't run away anyway." Faced with Delia's request, the abyss thorn spirit showed no reaction. It didn't care at all whether Deia would escape or not, it was just faithfully carrying out Chen Yu's orders. Not receiving a response, Deia gave up. She knew that even if a plant life evolved to the legendary level, it still lacked a brain and wouldn't reason with you. Along the way, she turned her exposed head to observe her surroundings. However, the more she looked, the more frightened she became. This palace, which she was once very familiar with, was now filled with beautiful and fragrant young girls. Upon closer inspection, she realized that all these girls were of legendary level quality. From the small room where she was imprisoned, she had already seen hundreds of legendary level beings. A few minutes later, the Abyss Thorn spirit brought Delia into her own bedroom. Isn't this my room? Could it be that this person has a change of heart and is preparing to give me a better environment? Delia was puzzled, but when she looked up, she saw the mysterious human male who terrified her sitting on her bed, staring at her intently. So, it has come to this so quickly. Has my cursed beauty made even a terrifying powerhouse of this level unable to wait any longer? Delia felt neither sadness nor joy, choosing to accept her fate calmly. But I hope he can be a little gentler with me. I heard it will be painful. Bang! Lost in her thoughts, Delia was thrown into the air by the Abyss Thorn spirit and landed in front of Chen Yu. Caught off guard, Delia's nose hit the ground, leaving her face covered in dirt. Ouch! Hiss! Unable to bear the pain, Delia couldn't help but cry out, taking a sharp breath, then turned around and glared fiercely at the Abyss Thorn spirit. What a wooden head! The bed was right there. Did you really have to throw me on the ground? Fortunately, the level 100 boss had a sturdy body. Otherwise, with just that impact, she would have been disfigured. Delia got up from the ground, rubbed her sore nose, and obediently knelt in front of Chen Yu. She glanced up at him and cautiously said, "Great hero, please forgive me. I don't have any relevant experience, so I may not be very good at serving you. But rest assured, I will do my best to learn." At this moment, Delia was not afraid of losing her chastity, but rather afraid that her inexperience would prevent the other party from enjoying themselves, leading to some inhumane actions towards her. Just then, a cold voice suddenly rang out. "You filthy beast, do you want to die? What makes you think that your dirty body, as disgusting as a toad, is qualified to serve the master? Don't daydream all day, you're only fit to rot in the filthiest toilet." Immediately after, a vast and overwhelming aura engulfed her. She felt like a small boat struggling to survive in the raging waves, at any moment about to be swallowed by merciless winds and waves. Faced with such oppressive pressure, Delia could only curl up on the ground, trembling in fear. The pressure only lasted for a moment and did not continue to target her. However, even in just a second, Delia's whole body was drenched in cold sweat. She trembled as she stood up. In front of her, a petite girl, only slightly taller than her palm, slowly descended from above. The girl flicked her ice blue long hair and coldly said to her, "You beast, suppress your filthy desires. Otherwise, I don't mind letting the thorn spirits satisfy you with their thorny whips." This is an elemental spirit. A mythical level life elemental spirit. Thunderous thoughts echoed in Delia's mind. She had only read bits and pieces about elemental spirits in biographical novels and historical records. It was rumored that these creatures were the essence of the elements themselves. They were born as mythical level beings, possessing the great power to manipulate elemental forces. Even the weakest elemental spirit, as long as they grew step by step, could reach the position of a demigod at the very least. But why would an elemental spirit, with such a noble status, acknowledge a human as its master? Could it be that my perception is wrong? No, that's impossible. She used her domain pressure on me. I personally experienced her terrifying power. It's impossible to have misperceived. According to legends, elemental spirits had a very low chance of forming contracts with other beings, allowing them to borrow their power. But it was absolutely impossible for them to acknowledge a human as their master. Even if it was a god, they wouldn't take an elemental spirit as a servant. What kind of existence is this person? Unable to resist, Delia couldn't help but raise her head and secretly look at Chen Yu. And that almost made her poke her own eyes out on the spot. Because she clearly saw that this man was surrounded by 4 elemental spirits. Moreover, he held one in his hand, playing with it recklessly. 6 elemental spirits. He actually has 6 elemental spirits under his command. Is this person the legendary creator god? Mother beast, lower your humble head and do not taint my sisters and our great master with your gaze. The mini girl with ice blue long hair shouted coldly, waking Delia up from her shock. Delia quickly obediently lowered her head, no longer daring to look directly at Chen Yu. Just then, an elf wearing a pure white dress flew over and held the hand of the ice blue long-haired elf, saying, "Xiao Miao, as servants of our master, our behavior must be elegant. How can you speak with such foul language? A mere mother beast dares to seek the favor of our master. This is an honor that even the Lady Mother has not received. Shouldn't I remind her of her place? The ice blue long-haired elf said coldly. Then, she looked at Delia and asked, do you think I am wrong, Mother Beast? Immediately, Delia lowered her head even further. She couldn't argue with a mythical level being, let alone defy an elemental elf destined to become a deity. However, she did feel a slight fondness for the white-clad elf. In her impression, elemental elves were proud and looked down on everyone, just like the ice blue long-haired little elf. But the white-clad elf gave her a sense of humility and elegance, making her feel closer to her. Xiao Miao, don't say that, the white-clad elf continued, every living being needs to have dreams. It is because living beings have dreams that this world becomes wonderful and beautiful. Even if dreams can never be realized, they still have the power to silently fantasize and pursue in their hearts. Upon hearing this, Delia couldn't help but nod, feeling even more fond of the white-clad elf. HMPH, I disagree, the ice blue long-haired elf snorted, a lowly existence like a mother beast dares to taint our master. I cannot accept it. Hey, Xiao Miao, the white-clad elf sighed, patted the ice blue long-haired elf's shoulder, and said with deep meaning, you must admit that fantasies are necessary. They are the hopes and motivations of living beings. For example, the maggots in a dung heap. Their purpose in life is to fantasize that one day they can transform into flies that can fly in the sky, right? Well, that makes sense. Xiao Miao pondered for a moment and finally nodded, Xiao Guang, you're right. Then, she looked at Delia again, her tone slightly softened, Mother Maggot, I won't stop your filthy fantasies anymore. But I must remind you, even if you really transform into a fly, you will never have the chance to receive our master's favor. That's right, isn't it? Xiao Guang nodded in satisfaction and flew back to sit on Chen Yu's shoulder. Chen Yu, who was beside them, picked up Xiao Guang in surprise, carefully examined her, and even opened the attribute panel to look at her name. It was indeed the original light elf. Ahem, let's not talk about that for now. Chen Yu picked up Xiao Miao as well, stuffed her into his pocket, so as to prevent her from saying anything shocking and insulting the princess. Delia, I have something to ask you. My lord, please ask. Delia knelt in front of Chen Yu, almost touching her forehead to the ground. You know about the dark demon cult, right? Chen Yu asked. I do. Delia didn't dare to hide anything and truthfully replied. The dark demon cult has a stronghold that is very close to our main city here. Your demon dragon was obtained from there, right? Chen Yu said. Yes, Delia answered tremblingly. My lord, I had no choice. The origin of the demon dragon was her deepest secret, known only to her most trusted subordinates. She never expected that the person in front of her would expose it with just a few words. Don't worry, I'm not interested in what you've done. I just want to know where the headquarters of the dark demon cult is. Chen Yu asked. I don't know. The headquarters of the dark demon cult is not in the Horadric kingdom. Delia replied. From childhood to adulthood, I have never left the boundaries of the Horadric kingdom. Not only me, it seems that few people have ever left. At the borders of the kingdom, there is a mist that envelops the entire kingdom. Any creature that approaches the mist will return to its original position in a short time. The dark demon cult is an external force. I heard that they have a teleportation array that connects to the outside world. However, in recent days, it seems that the teleportation array has malfunctioned and cannot be used anymore. Understood, Chen Yu nodded. The high school entrance exam ranking tournament is within the scope of the entire Horadric kingdom. The Dark Demon Cult and the Stewart Empire are just background decorations. In the actual instance, they only occupy an area the size of a main city. This undoubtedly dashed Chen Yu's idea of exploring the map and gaining greater benefits. Take her away, Chen Yu waved his hand wearily. The Abyss Thorn Spirit immediately tied up Delia, ignoring her struggles and wriggles, and dragged her out of the palace. Horadric Kingdom, Windhowl Mountains. The Windhowl Mountains are a highly efficient monster farming area. Moreover, there is a permanent mission in the Adventurers Guild to hunt down elite monsters in the Windhowl Mountains. The mission reward is 100 blank insignias. If completed consecutively 10 times, you can also receive 1 rare grade insignia and 100 points for the college entrance exam. Swish! A bright sword light flashed. The head of a 2-meter tall ogre was severed. Su Miaoyu walked to the side of the corpse and picked up the dropped blank insignia. Lu Pingping also walked over from the side and muttered, I said, Yu, didn't Chen Yu ask you to look for him at the Adventurers Guild? Why didn't you go? It's so fun to be guided by a master. Why bother to fight monsters and accumulate points on your own? I don't know. Su Miaoyu shook her head in confusion. She was very excited when she found out that Chen Yu had issued a mission to find her. However, when she set foot on the teleportation array to Solid Rock City, she hesitated. Perhaps she didn't want to develop a habit of relying on others, or perhaps there was still a little bit of pride in her heart that had not been smoothed out. Su Miaoyu chose to take a chance on her own, trying to prove that she was also a useful person, not just a leg pendant. Although, even before the college entrance exam, she was already a leg pendant of the master. Oh, Ping, does your chest insignia glow? Is it an equipment? Su Miaoyu suddenly noticed that Lu Pingping's chest, the black insignia engraved with 6 intersecting bloodstains, was emitting a faint light. Oh, you mean this? Lu Pingping took off the insignia. It's not equipment, just a decoration. When I was leveling up in the wilderness before, there was a mysterious organization that said they saw my potential and invested 10,000 gold coins worth of supplies in me. I tried to find them, but I had no idea where they were. It wasn't until the day before the college entrance exam that their people found me again and gave me this. They said that if I entered the ranking tournament, I could bring this in. Anyone with the same insignia as a comrade and can support each other. But until now, I haven't encountered anyone else with this kind of insignia. Here, if you're interested, take a look. Lu Pingping traded the insignia to Su Miaoyu. Su Miaoyu took the insignia and checked its attributes. Alliance Guild insignia. Description: a common decoration, seems to be the symbol of a certain organization. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.